All right, well, game number 1 on the Forest of Niflhel about to start up here and begin our Season 2 of the North American Pro League. Who's going to take home the first victory? Let's go ahead and take a look at some opening splits as we begin this matchup. Of course, Muffin's going to head to that henge right away. A 3-man split at the beach here for E-Dream. Let's go ahead and head back to the map, as it looks like Kenya is going to be the only member to go back through here, although he has a couple of members. K-Pud already all over him here. He's going to force Kenya back over towards that mid node.
At the mid node, we already see actually Zeus trying to take a little bit of an early lead here, as he did try to get that overload air out, but he did get CC'd, so it looks like they're just kind of throwing some damage around. Not too much pressure going out on either side as of yet, although we are going to be seeing that quickly change here.
It's on to Java. I mean, you could tell right from the start. We even had Trig right on top of Java trying to overload that air attunement onto him. And he has plenty of cooldowns, but he's not really in the fight like you might see sometimes, especially with a lot of cooldowns. He is actually going to get Moa'd there. I believe that was the full Moa coming out there from Bear, so a lot of conditions onto Java. Java might actually be taken into the downstate hazards all over him. He is going to go down here. Maybe, he's able to get into that shroud just beforehand, had 100% shroud, but outside of this is a risky move, and a really nice portal actually coming out there from Muffins to get him to safety.
Yeah, and they need to really be careful, because, I mean, in that team fight, I mean, look at them coming away from that one. Java, extremely low right now. K-Pud was almost dead as well. Muffins did a great job in portaling those guys out of there. Zeus, unfortunately, did not share that same fate, as he was taken out. Despite that, though, they did manage to get the mine, and they do hold on to it for the time being, but this game is still really close, and it shows already that blue team is pretty strong in these team fights right now.
We saw a really good play from Paul. Unfortunately, it was interrupted by Hazard and Eternity coming out and CCing that search and rescue, making sure they didn't get the res onto his teammate. Kenya, however, picks up a decap over at the mine point, getting on top of Muffins. Muffins is going to get a little bit of support from K-Pud coming out here. They do have respawns coming out with Zeus coming out of that gate, really going to help him out in this team fight. But this is such a close game already. I mean, no one really has a lead, and another team fight coming out here over at the mine point, and a 1v1 going on near the mid. But
look at this.
Look at the damage coming out here from the blue
This
team.
is exactly what I was talking about in the pregame. I mean, getting the fight and rotating it over to Paul, this is exactly what they need to do, and they can take him out so quickly when he doesn't have that signet up, and already we're going to be seeing so much damage being dropped on top of him to make sure that he does not come back up, and they're going to be pulling out of this fight victorious yet again, forcing everyone off. Unfortunately, the decap did happen. PZ just so good at those rotations there and making sure they get that, but this is going to be 2-1 in favor of E-Dream, as we are going to be seeing K-Pud taken down as well.
We saw Muffins use the Moa onto Eternity. Unfortunately, they were on their back foot there. They weren't able to capitalize whatsoever, and now we're going to have a first 2-cap of the game coming out here in favor of E-Dream. Paul looking for a 1v1 against Kenya. Probably not going to take it. I think what PZ needs to do right now is force that team fight at the mid. That's exactly what E-Dream's going to give them, a team fight. They have K-Pud off of respawn in a few seconds. Take a team fight for themselves. If they can win it, they can push out to a second node, but they really have to take care of business here at the keep.
Yeah, and they're going to be looking to take down Java in this fight, I think, and they've got him up against the ropes here, forcing him. And it looks like it's both Necros being trained down a little bit, and it looks like Eternity is the one taking most of the pressure. Trig getting extremely low as well, and he doesn't have any cooldowns here. He does have this overload water, so he's going to be able to get himself back up, but it is going to be Eternity still taking pressure here. All the condies on him as he's taken down now, and it's going to be PZ winning their first fight of 3 total now. So
we are going to see Muffins head out of the keep over to the henge node, but thankfully for E-Dream, Kenya was already on his way, going to match him in that 1v1. Regardless of winning that fight and taking down a member, I don't feel like Team PZ is really taking advantage of it. They're pushing to the henge node instead of the mine node. That's really going to help, given the fact Eternity's off of respawn. He's just going to walk right into that fight, so it doesn't feel like there's much of an advantage. Bear, however, going to pick up a decap at the keep before Paul's able to get there. That's a pretty big move from him, and already going to deplete some of the...
And this is so huge because he already has the portal down. He could just portal right back. This is such a good play from Bear if he can get back over there.
He should be able to get the full cap too.
Yeah, I think the portal is there. He does get the full cap, and he manages to save the decap as well. Such a huge play from Bear. That is going to be critical going into the next couple of minutes. And in this 1v1, I actually give him the advantage here, as he's going to be pumping a lot of conditions out as long as he can get the CC off onto Paul. Unfortunately for him, though, taking a lot out already.
Well, we already saw E-Dream force out Team PZ from the henge node. We had, Hazard taking in the downstate. K-Pud potentially looking for a stop. He's not going to be able to pick that one up since Kenya decided to use his function gyro and help him out. But even so, the decap actually comes out there. Oh, the 1v2 now over here at the mine point. As Bear is going to be taken down, more than likely. Does have his heal, but I don't think he's going to be able to get this one off. Oh, never mind. He does get it off. There wasn't enough pressure coming out there from Muffins and Paul. Paul was trying to get the cap. He does get the cap. Reclaim a 2-cap for themselves. This is where Team PZ can try and get some points back in their favor.
Yeah, that was really good synergy there from Zeus and Java. Just Zeus keeping his teammate alive because Java extremely overextended there. There was no reason for him to go as far as he went. And yet again, he's doing it here, setting up into a 2v2 that they shouldn't be in. I mean, K-Pud needs to be getting out here, and Java doesn't have the same mobility, so K-Pud's probably going to be taken down, and Triggy's in this 2v2. Why would you rotate into a 2v2 with an Elementalist on support? You just don't do that.
There's not enough pressure from Hazard here. Hazard might be able to take him out. Meanwhile, Paul was eliminated over at the mine point. He might get back up. We finally do see the downstate coming out there from K-Pud. Java not going to be able to do anything about it. Taking a look over here, Paul actually stomped out. Bear's going to pick up a decap at the mine point. Everything is going in favor of E-Dream right now, aside from maybe a little bit of better rotations from PZ a couple of times. But even so, this is all E-Dream right now.
I would have agreed with you before I saw what Java did just moments ago. That was very poor play from them. Set up the position that they're currently in. They can only blame themselves for this. Unfortunately for them, they might be able to take out Kenya in the process, so maybe they can get this one back. But despite that, the entire time they're going to be worrying about a 2-cap that's been taking away for a little bit now and will continue to for at least a couple more moments, as we are going to be seeing Triggy should join this fight and helping out Bear. And it looks like that is going to be a slow rotation, but a rotation nonetheless.
I don't like this rotation by E-Dream to put Hazard in the 1v1 against Java. I don't like that at all. They've got, I don't think that Hazard's going to be able to take that 1v1 at all. And Hazard's actually going to do the right thing. He's going to head to keep and get the decap and trade it instead of forcing himself into a lost fight before it starts. I like that move from him. However, are we going to have a portal from no, Muffins does not have that portal up, so that will be a free decap. Excellent move from them. They will still hold on to that mine cap as well.
Yeah, that is just a beautiful, beautiful play there from them. And they're actually going to probably take out K-Pud too. K-Pud, I mean, just another instance of PZ overextending here and making these mistakes that they should not be making at all. I mean, this is a team that we saw go to the season finals and represent NA, and here they are making, honestly, kind of some rookie mistakes that we wouldn't expect from them.
We do have a couple of their members just kind of running around here. Is this a matter of overall play, or does Marvin not being here and not having a presence with his engineer have some sort of aspect? Because there's definitely more synergy with him. Not to say Paul isn't a part of this roster, by all means he is, but I mean, Marvin was with him all season long.
I think that, I mean, a lot could be said about Marvin not being here, but I think a bigger problem is the fact that they're just really messing up a lot of the rotations, and we haven't seen this a lot from them. Maybe Marvin really does a lot in that department, but I mean, for the most part, I think a lot of this is just kind of some, I don't know, maybe some nervousness on their part. They haven't played, a little bit of rust maybe. I don't know. It's just, there's something missing here, and it could be Marvin. I mean, clearly that is definitely, they are missing Marvin, but I don't know if it's everything, man. I feel like there's more to it.
Is it the 100-point difference that E-Dream has right now? That's the real question, as both Mesmers decide to grab their home nodes once again, probably drop the portal and head to this mid-fight. Nice chill the bone coming out there from Java. Is it going to be enough to try and focus down a member? It looks like Trig and Hazard are losing a bit of HP here, as Trig is going to be under a lot of pressure. He has no cooldowns left whatsoever. He has his heal up in a few seconds, but nobody's focusing him on the side of Team PZ. That was an excellent opportunity to focus down Trig, who's now at 100% HP, and they're going to put the pressure back onto onto K-Pud now, who might be looking to be taken down himself, as Zeus was actually mowed by Bear in this fight. Didn't really capitalize on it. Kenya heading over to the mine point, and once again, no one following up on this from Team PZ.
Yeah, and I think that Triggy and Eternity are looking to just try to hold on to a 2v3 here. We are going to be seeing some rotations, some rather late rotations actually, as we are going to be seeing the decap come out on mine, and that's going to be Kenya versus K-Pud in this 1v1 here, and it looks like honestly, I mean, so far what I've seen from Kenya, I'm not sure how I would favor him in this 1v1 versus K-Pud. It looks like he's just gonna leave that one and go back over to the mid fight. But that's a good job from him nonetheless, because he's gonna pull K-Pud out of that fight, and that's gonna be a lot of PZ's damage, because they don't really have a lot of that kill potential set up from the engineer, where you got that slick shoes and you can kind of pull people in and set them up so you can put a lot of clean down. But
I don't know how I feel about that rotation, because they had lost the henge node as well, and we have Hazard going out the side gate. Bear is in a heap of trouble right now. This is an opportunity for Team PZ to capitalize on. They're down 100 points, no points ticking in favor of eDream. Bear's in the downstate. Hazard's just running rampant around this map now, going for a mine decap. He's going to find himself in a 1v1 against Muffins. I don't like his odds in that situation whatsoever. And they're not seeming to get anywhere with this mid-fight. This is a great situation, despite all the mistakes all game long from Team PZ, for them to redeem themselves and get back in this game.
Yeah, and this is where eDream needs to come back and really kind of say, you know what, it was working before, let's just go back to that. Let's just play these team fights, rotate them all into Paul. They have an opportunity right here where they're trying to get it, but they're trying to play a little bit too skirmishy now, and this is kind of where the Druid is very strong. You need to pull these big team fights onto him, especially when you're given a free opportunity to do so. But it looks like they're just going to rotate that one out, start a little 2v2 over on the mine. They already have that 1v1 between Eternity and Zeus, which is certainly going nowhere anytime soon, and that fight on mid is a little bit stalemated as well. But they do have an opportunity now to take out Paul, as it is a 3v1 on this point. They need to hurry up, though.
Marvin making his way into this node. K-Bud on his way as well. We will have Muffin start to move here. There is 4 minutes remaining in this game, but Team PZ has been clawing their way back into this one. Need to make sure that eDream can, get on top of Java here, because Java is a prime target. Bear actually taken into the downstate. Will he get rezzed up here from that function gyro? It looks like so. Muffin's going to use that MOA. Doesn't look like it actually landed onto anybody there, so not going to be able to make big use of it. But Hazard in the downstate now, along with Bear. Trig going to be following up here. That could be a 3-man wipe coming out here for Team PZ. Kenya forced out of this one with that sneak gyro. Going to go back to his home node. I think Team PZ's back in this. Is K-Pud going to use that Surge and Miss, force the Elixir S from Kenya, who might actually be taken down himself. I think that's going to happen here, as there is huge rotations from Team PZ. I think this could happen for them.
Yeah, and I don't think this is necessarily anything that PZ did really right. I mean, certainly they did it. They played it right by putting Zeus in this 1v1, because, I mean, why was Eternity there? Like, he didn't need to be there. I mean, there's really no point for it. I mean, they're sitting on a neutralized point. Put someone else in that fight that can maybe just stalemate it as well, or just, but having Eternity there, which is a lot of your damage pressure, I think that he needs to be in there to take out that Druid and force force the team fights to be spread out, and then actually win those. But now they're going to be looking at a 3-cap because of a poor play, in my opinion. It looks like they are going to be getting Eternity back up, so they aren't going to lose the 5 points at least.
And K-Pud's getting Chieftain right now. Nobody's even close. It doesn't look like Hazard's going to be able to get there. Didn't even notice it. Extra 25-point boost there. They are going to win this game, I think. They've got both Paul and Muffin sitting around that midpoint, knowing that this is their game to take, their game to come back into it. What has went wrong for Team eDream right here? It felt like you said, they have the wrong people in the wrong places. They're finally starting to get a move back, but it was just too late in the game to do something like they did. They had over a 100-point lead and just threw it all away.
Yeah, they really did throw it all away. I mean, that was their setup. That they had it completely in the bag at that stage, but just throwing their Necromancer on Hinge for the 1v1, not the smartest move, in my opinion, when you're going up against an Elementalist. You need to put someone else in that scenario to either force Zeus off the point, someone that can maybe, get something going in that regard, or maybe put enough pressure where he's forced off the point, because Elementalist, since they don't have that huge HP pool, I mean, you can force them off the point, because sometimes they're going to have to force off the point, peel off, and then get their invulns and stuff like that. So you can at least maybe get something going in that regard. But despite that, that is going to be 500 to 393.
We'll have to see if they're able to hold up their end and take a 2-0, or if eDream will be moving this to a game number 3 on the Battle of Kylo, as things are about to get started here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the map as we wait the opening splits for game number 2 on the Legacy of the Foefire. If we'll see anything similar to the last game, I'm expecting a 3-point push from both teams, given that both do have the Mesmer. And it looks like Muffins will be heading to that waterfall as expected. Bear actually going to be in the 1v1 at the graveyard against Zeus. Let's go back to the map, as we're going to be having a huge team fight coming out here, over here at the quarry.
And Paul is in this fight, so I mean, this is theirs to win. They have the advantage in terms of that really strong 2v2 setup together with Triggy and Eternity, and then just adding Hazard to that. That's a lot of damage being added. So I really like this for them. I really think that if they can jump on Paul early or jump on Java early, that they'll be looking pretty good in this one. But Java's going to get a huge CC off on them, and followed up by K-Pud there. Just going to knock them back and just give them a couple precious seconds there and make sure that they get a couple cooldowns back, get some free pressure down as well. Maybe force some defensive cooldowns out from eDream. This is already looking pretty good for PZ.
Look at the pressure on the Java. He had a lot of condies. Thankfully, He did have a Condi removal, so he's still under a lot of pressure. They do have the node, so they can be as passive as they want to, as long as they hold someone on the node. Don't need to worry anything about that. But Hazard taken into the downstate. We are going to see the CC come out there from K-Pud, going to try and get Trig off of that res, and I think they're going to be forced back to this mid node. There's no reason to stick around for this. Trig going to try and support Eternity as he makes his way out of this one. But K-Pud is in hot pursuit of these two. So is Java, even though he's kind of low. He's got Paul healing them up, and a one team fight right from the start here for Team PZ.
Yeah, and honestly, that was their fight to win too. I mean, they just didn't really get much focus on Java. They put down some easy latent pressure on him. He got down pretty low from some easy damage, but they weren't able to like really even follow it up. They didn't put much pressure on Paul either. It just kind of felt like they were playing defensively after those two CC chains that we saw both from Java and K-Pud there. So
that was a rough MOA coming out there from Bear onto Zeus. At the end of that MOA, they were able to get some damage and conditions out on him, but not really able to capitalize on that for the first few seconds of that. We do see the res coming out there for Team PZ. Finally, eDream able to claim their own home node and move towards this mid node, make it a full 5v5. K-Pud already under some pressure, has his glint heal if he needs it though. We are going to have the portal back from Muffins over to the waterfall while Bear heads over against Paul over to the quarry. Even though they're able to pick up the decap, it feels like eDream can really get something going here at this mid fight to keep the focus down onto Zeus here.
Yeah, and Triggy needs to make sure he gets some heals on Eternity. Doesn't get it there. Downstate coming out. Eternity is down. Bear now about 10% HP as well, getting some focus there from Paul, who's trying to put him into a wall here. He's now at about 3k HP, just trying to survive here, and it looks like he's probably going to be taken down as well. And if these guys are close enough to each other, he does portal out though, so now he's going to be going with Trig and Kenya. They're just all coming out here, getting that decap, pulling out of that fight.
Well, Hazard's going to be left in that 1v1 against Muffins here. Eternity is off respawn. Is Hazard able to get that? Oh, doesn't get it. Oh my god, one tick away from getting that full cap there. Muffins probably would have forced him off the node regardless, especially with K-Pud coming here. We'll have to see if Hazard's able to last very long without another teammate. I mean, he is a Revenant, so he's got a lot of sustain on his side. He's actually going to get help from Bear now. Still going to have Eternity come here off of respawn. I think the good thing to do for eDream right now is not focus on that mid node, play the sides. Hazard taken into the downstate. Is Bear able to get anything going for themselves, able to get him back up? It looks like he should be back into this team fight, but still at the cost of some cooldowns.
Yeah, and it's going to be Paul versus Kenya here over on the quarry as well, and it looks like Paul just really giving it to Kenya here, and we saw Kenya actually in a little bit of a 1v1 over at the mine on the last map there with Paul, and Paul actually kind of forced him away, so it's interesting to see this yet again here, and Paul has been able to get it. But despite that, looking over at the waterfall, we have already seen a downstate almost here as Trig is about to go down. He does actually go down there, and it looks like he's going to be trying to get back onto the point. Make sure that Java has to stomp him out here, but yet another victory for them.
Hazard was taken down in that fight. Trig's taken down. Eternity hardly makes it into that base. Was a close one. Bear forced to the mid node, picks up a decap here as both teams holding on to the one cap. But Team PZ looks a lot better this time around than they did the first 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes of that first game here. Definitely looks like a different team. Bear going to throw down the portal. Is he able to make it out alive? Doesn't look like so. And that portal going to go to waste. Nobody's going to be able to get him back out of that fight. And once again, Team PZ picking up a 2-cap for themselves, unless Hazard's able to get onto this point, get the decap. He does, so mitigates the 2-cap once again, but it really feels like they're just falling apart. And at some point, Team PZ is going to capitalize on the fact they have the numbers advantage and just wipe the rest of eDream.
I mean, really, they're just drafting behind PZ right now. They're just kind of coming through, getting the scraps that they really kind of can, just kind of being vultures to PZ right now. And I mean, this is completely the opposite of what we were seeing in the last match. And I mean, a lot of that could certainly be attributed to the map itself, and certainly you could say a lot about Forest being that kind of team fighting map and how that probably catered to the composition of eDream, having that engineer as opposed to the potential liability of a druid in a team fight. So I mean, it's hard to say, but nonetheless, I mean, eDream just falling apart at the bits right now.
Bear looking for a decap at the mid. He's going to be met by Muffins. By Muffins and Java, going to be forced trying to go back to his home node here. He cannot really do a whole lot. Hazard taken down in the roadways as well. The stomp going to connect from Team PZ, who are just dominating around the map. If they're able to pick up a decap here and wipe the rest of eDream, That would not surprise me, given the fact they're just outnumbering them everywhere, just outmanning them in team fights, dominating them. Way more, focus on the members. We haven't actually seen anyone go down in a while from Team PZ. As I said, that K-Pud taken into the down state, but it looks like his teammates might be able to get him back up. We have the search and rescue coming out there from Paul. Paul might be taking down himself in the process, able to get him back up, get some heals onto himself, and once again, Team PZ at 100% HP, looking good here. I mean, they're just doing an excellent job in these reses as well.
And as Muffins is getting kind of low here, we are going to be seeing some support from Zeus. Perhaps Hazard might be able to get him down, but I'm not sure if that's going to be the case. Despite that, though, Bear actually used that MOA outside of the continuum split, so he's going to be without that utility for 160 seconds. I mean, plus alacrity, whatever. Yep. But despite that, I mean, that's a huge cooldown that's out. And I would say, like, in this map, especially against what they are up against, where you have, Zeus you have to MOA potentially, you have the Necro you have to MOA potentially, you have the Druid now you have to MOA potentially as well. I mean, you don't want to be without that cooldown. You always want to be using that thing in continuum split, but Bear decided to use it anyways, still manages to get the kill with his team on Zeus, and they're going to be able to get that full cap over.
Paul is going to use search and rescue. Hazard was looking for him, communicated that he had made his way over there. Are they going to be able to get him back up? Zeus's health bar is starting to get up here. Trig looking for a stop. I don't think so. Paul might be taken down himself. Connie's thinking he's going to be taken down here. Regardless, Eternity was taken down over at the core, and it doesn't look like they're able to get a mid-cap just yet as K-Pod looking for the waterfall. Hazard going to try and match him in that 1v1. If he plays passive enough over there at the waterfall, it might be in his favor, but we're going to see Kenya pick up a graveyard node. 7:30 remaining in this game with both lords available for the teams. This isn't over yet, but this is what eDream has to get something going here.
Yeah, and Muffins has just been really handling Bear over the course of this match, and it seems as though that is the case, as he does die out with the help of Java there for Muffins, but that is still a 2-cap in favor of eDream, so they really need to hold on to this. Paul is going to be adding to this, and this is certainly not a good position to be in if you are Kenya and Triggy, as you are just really trying to stay alive right now and hold on to this point long enough for Eternity to come over, as they did manage to just take out K-Pud there, and it looks like he's going to be self-resing, so Hazard is forced to come back and make sure he deals with that, just get him down, because Paul is going to be trying to come in with the search and rescue and does try it there. Hazard going for a dodge there, not really sure if that was the best time for a dodge, and it looks like
he's going to be able to get him back up, no doubt. Yeah, that was a good rotation from Paul going around the backside there. Hazard using his shield block off point and giving up the decap. Regardless, he could have died on point. Bear could have probably made it there in time to hold on to the cap, especially with Eternity coming out from the mid node now. That was an interesting play there, but regardless, Hazard back into the fight now thanks to Bear's res. Eternity moving back here. They need to make sure they don't give up that mid node as Java's off of respawn. That would be a pretty bad, unfortunate event if they're able to get that decap there for eDream.
Oh, they could take Zeus out here potentially. No staff 5 for him though, but they do have some CC. It looks like they're going to need to instead avert their eyes somewhere else potentially, and it looks like Hazard has gotten K-Pud in his sights. A little kind of 1v1 skirmish here, a little duel going on between these two, as we are going to be seeing a little back and forth play. Despite that though, looking back over at the mid node, we are seeing Bear going up against Paul. We're going to be seeing Triggy and Zeus, both elementalists, joining up into this fight. Muffin's going to add to this one as well, giving PZ a little bit of favor here as Java does go ahead and get that full cap on Corey. So it is 1-1, about 100 points between these two teams. So eDream is back into this, certainly. K-Pud taking a lot of pressure, even still, doesn't have his glint heal up for another 8 seconds, plus the chill on him. So, I mean, without some support from his teammates, he's going to be going down soon. He does actually go down. This could be a huge opportunity here for eDream, but I'm not sure if they're going to get him up, and they do portal out onto the door. K-Pud might still go down, though he does use his heal, and they're just going to go straight for the Lord here.
There was no attempt whatsoever to use the elite from the glint stance from Hazard. Didn't even open it up, didn't even try to. Of course, he wanted to continue with the auto attacks, etc., but they had to have seen something like this coming. Nobody's even close to getting back here.
Yeah, this is
I think that's game. Team PZ gonna take out eDream 2-0 here. Taking a look at the opening splits for game number 1. Looks like we're going to be having both teams with some crossers here, and a huge little skirmish actually going on at the beach here. No crossers going to be coming out there on the side of Final Form, who are just looking to kind of hold them off and hold off that push in. It looks like Zerko might be finished push back here. So I think both teams going to be coming out with a 1 cap and pushing to that mid node.
One of the interesting things I always see about these aggressive setups where you see people going to crossroads or crossing beach to far, I mean, you have these revenants crossing with you. Why aren't they? You need to be able to reveal those things, and we didn't really see it from either team there, and now we are going to be seeing a lot of pressure actually onto Tao, who's trying so hard to get away here, and he's going to be going with the jumping puzzle there, trying to get some support from his teammates as well, as it looks like he is going to be okay for the time being. Does have Rise up as well, so has some damage mitigation potentially, but nonetheless, Red Team is going to come away with that midpoint.
That's Zerko also picking up a decap over there. Urantian and Bob on top of Devil, who able to get his Glint heal off, get up to 100% HP once again, thankfully, because all the damage that just came out from those guys. Zeromus is looking to get on top of him, but both teams rotating pretty well thus far, with Gems and Tonic coming out with the first 2 cap of the game. Zerko needs some support, though. He might be taken down inside of the Celestial Avatar. Thankfully, he has a lot of heal potential inside of it, but outside, he's got nothing left. They need to be very careful. He's going to be taken in the downstate here.
Yeah, we have to remember that, you know, Urantian doesn't have the option for that search and rescue. The only one he has is in his trait, so he actually has to go up and tap the body to actually get his pet on that res. Managed to do so in that situation there, but sometimes that might pose a problem in the future if they can't get those teleports off, and you know, Gems and Tonic is able to get a lot of pressure down. But despite that, 2 cap in favor of Final Form here. Urantian getting kind of low actually though. That is able to get the stealth off. Does have Celestial Avatar form coming off as well, as his heal did go off. But nonetheless, Final Form backing out of that fight. Feeling pretty good about their position in this matchup so far.
I don't like Dalton taking on the 1v1 against Subcutie if he doesn't have the elixir on him. He's using the gyro instead, and that really hurts his ability to deal with conditions. So we are going to see him go into the res onto Devil of the Mist. However, oh man, the stomp going to connect there along with the CC from Bob. So there was no way of that res coming out here. And this is what you were talking about earlier. It really, you gave the match to Final Form. You said their experience was just so much more, and this is kind of showing for them. As it really feels like Gems and Tonic can't get anything going now.
Yeah, a little alley-oop setup from them over on the keep there, and it looks like we are going to be seeing the fight kind of gravitate over towards the hinge point here. As we are seeing a lot of pressure being put down already onto Dalton. Dalton trying to get some support for his teammate Tao as well, as there's just a lot of condition cleave happening from the Necromancer Zeromus, and Zeromus actually doing a great job of proving that he can play this little multi-class role a little bit, as he is of course known for playing that Mesmer.
This hench fight doesn't really seem to be going in favor of Gems and Tonic. Zuko taken into the downstate. Will his teammates go in for the res? They are going to get him back up. Not really taking a whole lot of cleave in the process. Tao doesn't have any cooldowns. This is a prime opportunity for Final Form to focus him down. It might be taken down here. Look at the gun. He's not able to transfer him back. He will be taken into the downstate now. His team going in for the res. Subcutie going to try and land a Moa. I don't think he was able to connect onto anybody, but they do get Tao back up into the fight, holding on to that mine point now. They need to head out of this one. Dalton in the Elixir S, he might be taken down. Devil and Mist in the downstate now. This fight has not went anywhere as close to favoring Gems and Tonic here, as they just keep losing members. They're getting them back up because Final Form's not able to get any stomps down.
Oh man, and looking at mid, actually, we already saw Urantian just doing work on Zerko, and once again with the alley-oop, Bob coming over, finishing the job, and getting him getting killed off. So now they're going to be able to get the full cap. Drew was able to peel off, get the decap over on the mine. This is just looking so good for Team Final Form, who are looking to prove themselves after a kind of rocky end to the first season there.
I kept saying that Final Form has become such a better team from the end of Season 1 to now. They have just gotten so much better, so much more synergy on their side, and it's really showing here. Just taking it to Gems and Tonic. We are going to have Zerko come off respawn, head to that 1v1 again with Urantian. You had mentioned that Urantian was just taking it to him, and we'll have to see if he's able to do it again. Already at 50% HP with not a lot of cooldowns left, and Urantian, with all of his cooldowns but his heal available to him. Now we're going to get some help from Bob, and it looks like we do have Dalton rotating to this fight. Might be a little too late. Zerko needs to try and use that terrain to his advantage, get around the map. His team is all over the place right now, and it doesn't seem like they're able to get anything going for themselves. Down 75 points. They need to do something fast here.
Yeah, and really, really fast. I mean, they're still in that pretty nice spot right now where they have 10 minutes left. You know, they're not even 100 points down at this stage. It's just they're kind of conceding all map control at this stage. I mean, Zerko not on point, taking a 1v1, looks like he's doing okay in that 1v1, but you know, it needs to be somewhere else at this point. Really needs to make sure that they're actually kind of focusing on where they need to be focusing on, and something that they need to be focused on right now is SupQT getting a free cap over on the hinge.
That's what I said earlier. I mentioned that it's kind of a blaring hole that they can't do anything without they can't get the decaps like SupQT can. He just portaled out of that mid fight. Regardless, they lost mid fight, and it doesn't look like it's going to be going in their favor because no one's there anymore. But even so, SupQT got the free cap over there at the henge, and we're going to see that all game long, all series long, just given the fact that the blue team doesn't have one to do that same thing themselves, and that's going to really hurt their point income.
Yeah, SupQT just kind of sticking around this hinge point. I think he's just kind of waiting to see if he can just wait for that portal to come back up. Doesn't look like that actually is going to be the plan of action, as he is going to be trying to go up for a decap, take the 1v1 on Dalton. And we have to remember, I mean, this Mesmer build's so good at the 1v1s, and SupQT is certainly one of the stronger Mesmers in NA right now. So potentially a pretty good setup for them to be in right now with that cap on far right now. So, I mean, doesn't look like it's actually going in favor of SupQT at all for the time being. And we are not seeing any rotations. Despite that, over on the team fight at mine, we are seeing Bob taken down. They're trying to get a res going, but the cleavage is looking like it's a little bit too much for Jim Tonic. They do manage to get the stomp off from Zuko there, so they're going to be able to come away with that, that cap.
And Dalton taken down. He was mowed there by SupQT, so SupQT going to take that one away from him and look to claim that mid node for themselves. They do have Ozzy and Zeromus trying to hold off the pack as they make their way to this mid node. There will be a 2-cap. I don't think they're going to be able to get on that one in time. So the 2-cap once again for Final Form, who have made themselves a 100-point lead. Looking for both teams actually looking for the Rev versus Ranger duel on the side nodes, while the rest of the team 2v3s because Dalton was taken out there. I think that Gems and Tonic need to head out of this fight now because this is not in their favor whatsoever here.
Yeah, and I was talking before about Devil. I mean, like with that sword, you certainly have a little bit of a shot at just kind of ripping that druid down and just putting a ton of pressure on him, especially when he's not able to get that elite up. But despite that, he wasn't able to really do much of anything, and in fact, I would go as far as to say as he was certainly about to lose that fight before he was plus there from Dalton off a respawn, and now it's looking like they're going to be able to push Urianton off the point. Still a huge fight happening over here.
Oh, Dalton. Oh, man.
Yep.
I mean, Tail, he had his shroud if he wanted to use it, but perhaps he just wanted the res from Zerko with that search and rescue. I don't really think that's a great thing to do. Plan to hope to get the res instead of using your cooldowns to stay alive. But they are going to be forced back to that mine node, picking up a 2-cap for the first time since the start of this game for themselves. But can they win the numbers battle? They have a 2v2 over there at the henge node. It's not quite in favor of them because Devil the Mist might be taken out himself. It looks like he's under a lot of pressure. His heal not up for a few more seconds. He's trying to stick in the glint stance here because he wants to use that heal if he needs it, and it looks like he's going to do just that and try and take down Bob now, and still holding on to that mine point. This is a prime opportunity before it gets too late now for them to try and make their way back into this one.
They really need to take Bob out right now. This is the opportunity, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to follow up with it. They are going to be able to hold on to that cap, so they still have that 2-cap, and they're within 90 points now of Team Final Form, and it looks like they're going to be trying to hold on to that, make sure that they just keep holding on to these sides, play very, very defensively, because that's all they really need. And actually, it looks like he's doing quite well with that sword there, Devil, and he is being able to put a lot of pressure out. Looking over at the mine fight, though, we are seeing Zuko get pressure down to about 40%. Looks like he's...
Oh, there's the portal. The portal from SupQT going to get Zeromus to safety along with the rest of his team. They're pushing hard over to this henge point. Thankfully, they have Dalton in the area, so he's able to support. This is a lackluster push by Final Form. They portal there to push to the henge node, but they're not doing anything with it. They had the 4v2, the 5v2 around the map there, and they're slowly pushing into this henge node. Enough time for Zuko to make his way over here. Tao actually is on spawn here, going to get the 25-point boost for their teams. Urantian in the 1v1 with Zerko. Even with Devil the Mist down and Dalton, I mean, they're probably going to end up losing this henge node, but they're within 50 points now.
I'm not sure if I would have gone for the boss in that scenario. I mean, you have the 1v1 between the two druids, so that's an easy opportunity for Tao to come in and just ruin that fight completely outright. I mean, would have been a joke. They have the opportunity now to put down a lot of pressure on top of him, and he does have a couple of evades, but they're going to be able to take him down extremely low. Conditions go straight over towards his pet, but he's going to be coming out of that downstated, and it looks like Tao is going to be trying to finish the job here. Bob's going to be trying to put down some counter pressure. They're actually going to be able to get the res up, and they were not able to get the full cap, as we did see Zerko try to help that fight out a little bit there, and we are going to be seeing Yura back on the point now with the help of Bob here. So this is going to be a 2v2, and it's quickly going to progress into something a lot bigger, as we are seeing the Zuko actually gravitate along with Zeroma and Ozzy coming over with Subcutie. This is going to be a huge fight. 5v5 coming out onto the keep, where Yura is actually downstated already.
They've got to get something going now, because they're down still over 40 points here. Urantian back into the fight is not good news for Gems and Tonic, though he is very low. So is Bob, who doesn't have his heal up for another 5 seconds here. A lot of good healing actually coming out there from the rest of the team. Urantian in the downstate, so is Devil the Mist. The stop onto Urantian will connect, get Devil the Mist back up into the fight. They're still down over 40 points now. They got to get some kills, got to peel out to that henge node, get a decap, and expect the respawn onto mine. They've got a lot to control right now, but first it looks like they're trying to take down Subcutie.
Yeah, and Subcutie just dodged right back onto the point, was able to get his portal off though, and he's going to be safe back over at their kind of safety net hinge here, and just waiting for him to get his cooldowns back. Doesn't look like, is he going to be able to make it through? Not looking like that's going to be the case. And he is going to be waiting now for Devil and Tao to rotate back over. Despite that, no, just a 1v1.
And Devil the Mist, they didn't even finish off the mid fight. They're going for Chieftain? Bro, you're not going to win the game if you get Chieftain right now. I don't know what I'm not exactly sure what's going through Tao's head right now. Going to Chieftain, they've got to get a decap first, or at least get mid, and it's coming down to the wire here. They're
I would definitely
30 points away from
rotate
victory.
into mid now. I mean, this is their opportunity, but they're allowing Yura to just come over here and get that free support.
Subcutie is probably going to MOA. I'm very surprised he didn't MOA Tao, and it looks like he will, and he still gets the kill.
And the decap too as well.
I think they might need to nerf Peck, because he was able to get the kill with the MOA there, and I don't think that should happen as a MOA. One member off the map, able to get the decap and the kill potentially onto Subcutie. They have no point income whatsoever. However, Zuko is in the downstate at the mid node. Subcutie's down here over at the henge. Is it going to happen? It's a tie game right now. This is going to come down to everything. And Zerko almost gives up the decap. Urantian nearly picked it up there. This is everything here for both these teams. I think Svanir is actually about to come up.
This is definitely for E-Dream. Despite the fact that it's a 3v4 right now, there's just no way that they're going to be able to get either of these caps. They did such a good job coming over to hinge, taking that boss, and Devil the Mist setting up a huge amount of damage there with that grasping shadow into the staff 5 there. I mean, I like that sword offhand in that situation, man.
Wow. I mean, a 13-point game there as Gems and Tonic do the unthinkable and come back and beat Final Form, all thanks to Amoa's Peck. All right, looking at the opening splits, Urantian heading to the quarry, a 2-man split actually over to the waterfall for Gems and Tonic. We're looking to play a little bit more passive here, so going back to the map, let's take a look at what we've got at this fight with Tao, who's actually pushing to the mid node now. Not really 100% sure what they want to do at this point, but it doesn't feel like he wants to leave Zerko in that 1v1 with Urantian. Urantian actually pretty low here. Taking a lot of damage, forced to use his heal. Only has a Signet available to him, so he's going to be forced out of this fight thanks to Ancestral Grace and his sword. So they will be picking up their node over at the quarry. Meanwhile, taking a quick peek over there near the waterfall. It doesn't look like Blue wants to kind of sit in that area, as Devil the Mist is going to be taken very low here. He doesn't have any cooldowns available to him. Is going to try and CC away that pet from Urantian, but it doesn't really do a whole lot. So both teams coming out here with a 1 cap at the start of this game.
Yeah, and I mean, this is Final Form's fight, I think, and they have the MOA off on Dalton here, and this is where the Mesmer really kind of makes a lot of a difference. Zerko, Ozzy coming through with the dunk down onto Dalton, getting the stomp off despite the search and rescue. Great play from him, getting the light flash off, but that is going to be a kill for them. They're going to be able to push the momentum basically outwardly a little bit here as we do or as we are probably going to be seeing them try to focus Tao, who has not left the graveyard yet and is extremely low here. And it looks like he's going to be getting actually a huge heal and going straight into Reaper Shroud, where he does have that full Shroud right now.
Dalton coming off of respawn, just heading straight back to the graveyard, wants to give his team the best opportunity possible to come out on top with this fight. Zeromus has full Shroud here outside. He doesn't have a whole lot though. I'll have to see. Pretty good slick shoes from Dalton. Really not able to capitalize with a whole lot of damage, but Zeromus might be taken in the downstate now. He needs to be careful. Able to get his heal off, but still, it's a prime target for these guys. Now it looks like we're going to have Devil the Mist taken into the downstate. Search and rescue coming out for Zerko. Wasn't much of a search and rescue in terms of distance, but did get the res nonetheless. 3 members very low now. Need to get some heals, and it looks like they're going to do just that. Zerko now at a distance. Still a 1-point lead here for Gems and Tonic. Really not proven to be much, but Subcutie coming out with a decap over here. And it looks like Devil the Mist wanted to do the same, but, you know, not having that Mesmer really hurts him in that category.
Yeah, it is going to be a 1v1 between Zerko and Subcutie. So last season's, 1v1 kind of God class versus this season's potential 1v1 God class in this matchup here. And Subcutie's showing just why he is one of the better Mesmers in NA right now, as he's just laid out so much pressure onto Zerko, forcing Zerko off, and he is going to be winning that point for sure. 2-cap in favor of Final Form, and they are going to be pushing the momentum mid here, as we are going to be seeing a little bit of a 1v1 here, where Devil's actually not looking so good versus Urantian this time around, but gets a decap nonetheless.
Does get the decap there. But even so, Final Form's going to start to slowly pull away in this matchup here. I'll have to see what they're able to do with that cap over at the quarry, if they're going to look for something else over here at the waterfall. Taking a look back at mid, it looks like Zerko is kind of the main target for Bob. Oh, a huge burst coming down onto him. Celestial Avatar going to be what is keeping him alive, but is it enough? Rest of his team trying to give out some heals to him. Good Shield of the Bone coming out there from Zeromus as they continue to pressure him down. Zeromus still on top of him. He's going to be taken into the downstate. Devil the Mist CC not really going to land on Zeromus. We'll have to see if they're going to be able to pick up the kill. Nice knockback as Bob almost taken down. The stomp though, going to connect there for Final Form and be a member up once again in this fight.
Yeah, Ozzy with yet another pivotal stomp there for his team. Really doing a good job this map, I have to say, and it looks like they're going to be looking to pressure Tao now, as Urantian's trying to maybe take him down, and it is going to be, oh, he could get it now. I mean, he dodged the Chill to the Bone there. Zuko's going to try to get some heal on him, and it looks like Consume Conditions is going to be up as well, so he's going to be able to get some of his HP back, but the fight has pushed over to him. They've rotated over towards it, and now they're going to put down a ton of condies on him. They get him extremely low, and he doesn't have anything left, down to 500 HP, and he does get taken down. Search and Rescue comes out. Bob's already on top of it. Looks like they are going to get him back up, but just barely there, as Tao is coming away with about 5% HP left. Ozzy this time going to go for another stomp. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get that one, though, as Tao's going to come back up yet again. Zerko is going to be taking the heat for that one, though, as he's going to be dying off and waiting for respawn.
The health pools on the side of Final Form just sitting at 100% HP with Tao under so much pressure right now outside of this Shroud. He's probably going to be taking the downstate. He is, as a matter of fact. Zuko looking to get back into this fight as attempt to get the res. Looked like they almost had him there, but Zuko now taking a lot of pressure from the rest of his team. Now the rest of them going in for the res, able to get him back up. Urantian, however, gets a decap over at the waterfall once again, so they should be able to pick up a 2-cap, as it just Gems and Tonic just falling apart here, not looking like the same team we kind of saw in the latter half of that first game.
Yeah, it looks like Devil's looking for a potential target here, and does find it in the form of Zeromus. Zeromus able to fear him off, and Devil does not have too much at his disposal here, as he does have no heal. Looks like Zuko trying to keep him alive there. Zeromus still taking a lot of pressure, as he's now about 60% HP, dropping a little bit still, doesn't have his heal up as he did just use it, but does still have that full Shroud and does go into it as well. Devil all over him here, and it looks like if Zeromus can just put out some pretty easy counter pressure, they might actually be able to get a free counter kill here on the on Devil. But Zeromus CC'd out,
man,
taken down.
They might be able to pick up a kill here. Continuum split being put out there by, I'm not exactly sure. Oh, he put the MOA onto Devil the Mist, so he's going to make use of that continuum split. Good MOA, not really allowing for Devil the Mist to do anything in that particular situation. Regardless, going to take out Subcutie here and come up with their own cap. Still down over 100 points now because of that 2-cap that was taken for so long. We actually see Urantian trying to follow up onto Dalton. who's looking for a decap. I don't think he's going to be able to pick up anything there. So once again, it feels like Gems and Tonic kind of left without a whole lot. Able to pick up a kill on the Bob, and the stomp will come out. So they can try and take advantage of having 2 members down here. But it really feels like in the past they haven't done a whole lot with it. I have to see if that's going to be changed around here.
Yeah, and Urantian's just making sure that Tao does not get back up to that 100% HP that they really need Tao at right now, because they need to make sure that they have no one forcing them to play defensively. They need to make sure that they're able to get as much pressure out as possible. And with that static shield, or shocking aura, sorry, that came out just now, I mean, that is huge for them. Shut down Tao's pressure, forced him then into about 10% HP, and it looks like they're going to be trying to take out Ozzy. They do manage to take him out here, unfortunately for them. Even if they manage to get Ozzy all the way down, they are going to be trying to take Yura down right after, so they do have even more people to kind of
and they
rip through a little bit here.
They lost Zerko over there, and even though they picked up the kill on the Ozzy, they were outnumbering them heavily because SupQD was getting the cap on Corey. Bob was over here chasing down Zerko, and now potentially decap onto the water for Tao. I think that's going to happen, and once again they'll just be swapping points, but it really feels like Gems and Tonic is pretty late to the party in terms of swapping those points. That portal definitely helping in favor of Final Form for that matter. Regardless, they are continuing to lose side of this game and potentially move to a game number 3. Zuko taking it to downstate. I don't think he's going to get back up after that kind of miss over there, and no one's even close to him, so yeah, he's not going anywhere. Oh, search and rescue for Zerko might connect. That's kind of why he went over there. Still a lot of pressure. Not sure if they're going to be able to pick up that one.
Yeah, when the poison goes down, the CC and the just the overall cleave, there's no way they're going to get through that, and they're going to be taking a little bit of pressure in the meantime as well. Devil certainly going to be taking the brunt of it and does have his heal coming up, but not in time, as Bob does manage to take him down there with the stun, and they're going to be able to cleave him out as well. Final Form looking to really kind of take a demanding lead now, as they're getting pretty close to being in that red zone where they can go for that Lord kill.
With SupQD's portal, I am anticipating a Lord kill for that matter. However, it looks like Gems and Tonic is kind of on the defensive as is, so they could definitely prepare for something like that if they're expecting it. Still a little bit 30 points away as Final Form picks up a 2 cap for themselves and regroups at this mid node. Both teams, trying to regroup right here. This is the best thing that Gems and Tonic could possibly do. But sending Devil the Mist to 1v1 Urantian, not saying that's a bad matchup, but it's kind of been shown all game long that that's not necessarily going in their favor. SupQD actually does have a portal down at that mid node, if I'm not mistaken. It is going to be on that front gate. I'll have to see if they're going to follow through in just a moment. It looks like they actually are.
Yeah, and they are going to get the portal off as well. So this is almost exactly what we saw the last time, and that's one of the things that you can do with a Mesmer is you can force these portals out, get the door down, and just run straight in. And we're going to be seeing them just rampaging straight on forward. Bob's already there. If Bob wants to get as much pressure as he possibly can, they need to pull it away from that that window there so that he can get the unrelenting assault. Looks like that's not going to be the case. They just want to hold him there. Maybe get the staff 5s in. The stealth comes out, but not enough, as red team is going to take it 519 to 210, leading us into a game 3 here between Final Form and Gems and Tonic.
Taking a look at the opening splits for game number 3. SupQD to the windmill. We do have Zerko heading to the mansion. Urantian going to match him in that 1v1. Meanwhile, we do have a couple of members. Looked like they wanted to go to windmill, heading back into the game now. Let's take a look at what's going on with Devil of the Mist, who's getting a little bit of pressure from Bob and Tao, as Red picks up their first cap of the game over there at their home node, and everything is starting to move to mid, and I think we're going to have a brawl going on here.
Yeah, and we have to remember this Gems and Tonic team really likes these team fights. This is where they really feel the most comfortable, especially with Dalton there, but doesn't look like they're feeling too comfortable now, as Tao's getting down pretty low here. He does have that shout healed, which is very interesting on this map because it's going to hit those indestructible pieces of the map, and we're already seeing the first clutch search and rescue coming out from Zerko, getting Tao out of that fight, and this is where they're going to be able to pull away and go for decaps and take the fight away from that midpoint. So potentially we could see some interesting stuff. Zuko taken down though. Looks like they're going to be able to get mid pretty soon here, unless we see a lot of movement from Gems and Tonic.
Urantian already picking up the decap of the mansion. We are going to see the same on the other side of the map from Zerko, but Dalton not wanting to get into that 1v1 with him. He is And actually not even a 1v1, he's being trained down there by Zeromus, so they're going to head right back to the clock tower here and look to get things going once again, as Red is yet to pick up on the cap here, as Dalton gets onto the node. Tao, though, in the downstate, Bob should be able to capitalize on this with that Glint Elite and try and take him out. He will be eliminated from the fight. Devil the Mist might follow up into the downstate as well, as he might be looking for a decap. We see SubQT already getting the decap over there at the windmill. Game number 3 here is not really starting out too well here for Gems and Tonic.
Yeah, not at all. Final Form is just all over the place, just dominating across the map. A lot of map control from them, just making sure that they stick together and make sure that they put out a ton of pressure and just kind of keep charging forward, holding the momentum and keeping the pace at exactly the steadiness that they want. I mean, that's really what they're about, and it looks like they're going to be able to potentially put some more pressure down onto Devil pretty soon, although he does have that Facet Light right now, and he's going to be able to benefit from it. Looks like they're going to be trying to put some damage down onto Zeromus, but still, I mean, Final Form just looking so good at the moment.
SubQT in the 1v1 against Zerko. It looks like he took a chunk of damage there, but he actually has the upper hand here. Zerko can't really afford to fight on the node, and he's going to pop into that Celestial Avatar. Look at the Condi damage coming out there from SubQT. He's looking to put out the pressure onto him. Has no MOA available to him. Already used that Continuum split MOA as well. Taking a look at the other side of the map, though, we actually see Zeromus gets out of the downstate. Blue team picks up the cap for themselves at the mansion in the process, and it looks like Urantian might be taken into downstate as well. Almost gets his heal off, but not quite, and he will be going down and picking up a kill on the side of Gems and Tonic.
Yeah, and looks like we are going to be seeing Tao get that, hold on to that full cap. He does need to make sure that he gets a res, or it goes for the kill pretty soon, as Urantian's going to be able to. Is he even going to realize this? Is he even? Hello? All right, he was able to get the interrupt off and pulled the pet off, and now he's going to be able to go for the stomp as the interrupt on the 2 downstate wasn't there. So that's looking good for them. They're able to hold on to the mansion. In the meantime, though, 2 cap in favor of Final Form here on the windmill and the clock tower. Looks like skirmishes on both. And we are going to be seeing SubQT being taken pretty low here. Distort. Oh, that could be it. Yep, Bob going to be trying to go for the res, as Dalton was able to get it with the slick shoes, just putting SubQT right on his face. And they're going to be able to get that kill off. And now they have decaps across the map with their cap on the mansion. This is a very good spot for them to be in, especially with Bob extremely low here. Dalton with that Bulwark Gyro as well. And he's onto the rampage, so he's going to put a ton of pressure down onto Urantian here.
I mean, Zeromus is dead at the mid node as well. Things could not be going better here for Gems and Tonic, who look to pick up the clock tower. And it looks like Urantian should be able to hold on. SubQT making his way off of respawn and making this a 3v2. Now, blue team needs some more support, especially with Ozzy heading out of the clock tower, moving over to make this a 4v3. As Tao comes from the clock tower as well, and it looks like a 2 cap actually going to come out here for Gems and Tonic. I mean, first good showing of the game here for them with the 2 cap.
Right now we are going to be seeing Bob trying to put some pressure down onto Dalton and Zuko, who are kind of stacked together along with Zerko as well. So some pretty well-placed cleave, and looks like that is going to be Jade Winds coming out from him as well, trying to set up some, some kill setup as well, but not really going to get much out of it. Despite that, I mean, this fight really means a lot, because whoever is going to be winning this one is going to hold on to the windmill, going to be able to force the fight towards the clock tower, and if blue team wins it, I mean, that's a really good position for them to be in, as they already have that, and they can force the momentum all the way across the map if they want to, away from that spawn from red team, and kind of really try to catch someone
the MOA
over-rotated.
AoE MOA, Toxic Elixir X from Dalton, going to mitigate what Zeromus can do here. A lot of heals coming out there from the rest of his team to try and keep him alive, but outside of Shroud, he doesn't have anything besides Consume Conditions. He's going to use both that and Rise and try and head out of this node, as Devil the Mist is also under a lot of pressure on the node as well. And Bob taking into the downstate here. We're going to have to see as Urantian heads out, looks for a decap at the clock tower. Gems and Tonic have a lead for the first time in this game, over 5 minutes into this one. It just feels like Final Form is slightly out-rotating, just a little bit quicker to get to the nodes.
Yeah, and Devil actually doing a good job against SubQT here. SubQT being forced out at about 10% HP. We are going to be seeing the Druid Urantian come in to take on that 1v1 instead, as SubQT is going to be trying to get out of combat and back across the map. We're going to be seeing blue team actually coming back here and now in the lead.
1v1 between Devil and Urantian. It looks like SupQT head across the map, looking for a decap once again. That feels like that's the main role he's been looking for, but thankfully for Gems and Tonic, Zerko will be around, taking a look at the clock tower. That skirmish going on. Tau seems to be a main target here. A lot of condition pressure coming out onto him from Zeromus. Has plenty of condition clear, especially with his traits there. He's going to be okay for the time being, and Urantian now under a lot of pressure. He made his way still over to this mansion, as I pointed out before, and a lot of damage coming out onto him from Devil in the Mist, who might be able to pick up a kill for themselves, but they're slightly building a lead for themselves. This looks better than they have all 3 games now.
Yeah, and SupQT is going to be able to go back to that portal, get the decap on the only point that blue team has control of, or rather had control of now, and Zeromus is going to come through because he says, or he knows that Zerko is coming over to that fight. They're going to be able to push him back towards the clock tower. This is a great position for Final Form to be in, despite the fact that Urantian was just taken down across the map. Looks like Devil's trying to make sure he gets that kill, gets the staff 5 off as well over at the mansion, and is able to he is going to be able to pull that one off and get cap on the mansion here.
Zerko now looking for the 1v1 with SupQT, as SupQT, I believe, just used, or has Mo available if he wants to use that continuum split. Doesn't really need to, or excuse me, in 40 seconds he'll have it available. Not with the continuum split there, and I'm surprised Zerko actually wants to take on this 1v1 here. I really feel like they don't need to do it, but he's kind of pushing SupQT away from doing potential portal plays, which is something they had an issue with, especially in earlier games. And now Urantian is trebbing that mid node. Zeromus in the downstate is going to get back up thanks to his teammates. And Urantian going to keep on trebbing. We'll have to see if Gems and Tonic is going to react to that here.
It's kind of interesting to see a lot of these druids when they're playing this kind of support role, or rather bunker role. I mean, you don't see them using Lunar Impact very aggressively to get that daze off as well as the heal, and I think that it really kind of comes down to positioning, and we are seeing Zerko kind of make that adjustment now as he's getting the Lunar Impact off as well. Just relieve some pressure off the druid, make sure that he's not taking too much, and you know, gives him a little bit of an advantage.
I'm sorry, but Gems and Tonic should not be getting hit about on this Treb as much as they are. They've gotten hit. I don't think many of them have dodged many of the Treb shots. Regardless, they win the team fight, but Urantian was actually making effective use of that trebuchet there. And the 2 caps still going to be holding on here for Gems and Tonic, who are starting to build quite the lead for themselves. Bob going to be bled out now, and it looks like Urantian wants another 1v1, another chance with Devil in the Mist, who we lost to earlier on. Going to get some help from Zeromus now, and this is kind of where Gems and Tonic falls apart. Lack of rotations does not seem to be their strong point.
Yeah, and we are seeing SupQT getting kind of low. Does have his heal up, does have continuum split as well, so decent position for them to be in, perhaps, as Ozzy's going to come over here with some support. Bob's rotating into the fight as well. If Gems and Tonic can hold on to these fights and just kind of really play really defensively. They need to get on Zerko right now, though, as he's taking a lot of pressure, down to about 10% HP. It doesn't look like SupQT is able to get a lot of his CCs onto Zerko. They needed it at that point.
I've got no idea what Zuko's doing right now. He was just looking at SupQT trying to auto-attack him. His teammate Zerko was super low on the point. He had his heal available to try and get him back up, but he never even used his heal onto his teammate now. And still yet to do that, even though Zerko is kind of struggling. He has a couple cooldowns himself. He's going to use that heal and elite to get himself into a decent position, but without any cooldowns now, still up 100 points here for Gems and Tonic. 5 minutes left in this game as it progresses fairly slowly throughout.
Yeah, Dalton's probably going to be going down here pretty soon. It does manage to get his heal off. Looks like he's going to be chased by Zeromus, and Zeromus should be able to take him down, although Dalton's doing a good job of maintaining composure here for the meantime. Does have Slick Shoes available. Does have Elixir X available as well. It does put off the bulwark, but right into SupQT, who's trying to put down a ton of conditions on him. He does go for the Slick Shoes, goes for the heal as well, so he's going to be healthy now.
Those were great heals by Zuko, to keep him alive until he had his heal available to him, and still, they're without a cap. They need to get something going for themselves, able to take down Ozzy over there at that windmill node, who is going to Vapor Form and not really do a whole lot with that. Bob's going to go in for the res. Nice whale by Tau, and they should be able to capitalize on this, pick up a kill for themselves, and force Bob out of this node. Except, is Zerko able to get the res onto his teammate? He should be able to get Zuko back up into the fight, and Dalton now stomped out at the midpoint. People are just dying left and right here for both of these teams.
Yeah, they need to make sure that they either get to the clock tower or to around to the mansion extremely fast, because right now it's a potential 2-cap scenario here for this red team, and they do manage to get that cap off. Devil getting taken down pretty low here, doesn't have too much in the form of some personal sustain, and he is going to be taken out. It looks like they're going to be going for the stomp as well, and they do manage to cleave him down there. Bob getting it with the precision strike. Now onto the main fight here. Subkidi getting down to about 60%, doesn't have any of his shadows available, but it doesn't need them as Tao is getting so low. Jims and Tonic falling apart.
I don't know, that was a good rotation. Of course, Dalton off a respawn is going to pick up a decap. They could head to sides right now, and that's exactly what they're going to do. I think that there's going to be a lot of pressure coming out here from Final Form over here at the mansion, given the fact they don't hold on to it. Still a decent lead for Gems and Tonic, who need more support over here. It looks like Zerko is just looking at the mid node. Nobody's even there for Final Form. Able to take down Zuko. Dalton probably going to follow up as well into that downstate. No portal play from Subcutie, a little late in terms of reaction there, and they will pick up a decap once again. It's still a 50-point lead here for Gems and Tonic, who need to get something else going before they can call it game.
Yeah, and they're just kind of rotating into fights a little bit late, a little underpowered, and you know, they're not looking good because of it. And now Devil's probably going to be taken out by Zeromus, who's probably going to get yet another chase down kill, and that's not going to be good for Gems and Tonic at all, because with this 2-cap coming for Final Form, I mean, they're just coming right back into this game, and if Gems and Tonic is not careful, and especially with Devil just going everywhere, I mean, no control right now.
Might be able to take down Subcutie at mid, potentially a decap here. Tao is under a lot of pressure as well, has his shout heal available to him. Has Suffer as well. He does have a full Shroud pool, so he should be okay if he gets in a very tight spot now. But Devil in the Mist, like I said, didn't even reset, has his Glint heal available to him, and he looks like he's going to use that, and he's not even being pressured too much, but there's still need to get something going. 2 minutes remaining in this game, 30-point lead now for Gems and Tonic, who are slowly falling apart here and trying so hard to get a kill on Subcutie.
Yeah, and Devil does not have too much heals, and he doesn't have that shield either, so he's going to be going down. Zerko, it's up to him to get that heal off, and the search and rescue is going to fail as he is going to be getting feared, but despite that, does manage to get that full res off, and Devil back up to about 80% HP here.
They gave up their cap in the process, though, and they will fall behind here in a matter of moments. Urantian might be taken down at the mid node. A couple bleeds taken on him, able to cleanse them. He's so low right now. Is going to be taken down. Will they be able to get a res, though? That's the real question. And Subcutie went in for it. It looks like he's back up, down once again, and we do have a disconnected member on the side of Gems and Tonic. That hurts them big time. Still have Urantian down here. They are not out of this quite yet. Down 5 points with 1 minute remaining. Devil the Mist taken into the downstate. Dalton down as well. That is a two-man wipe. Is Urantian, the stomp going to come out? It will connect and rest both of them, who are just trying so hard to claw their way back into this game, but outnumbered around the map due to that disconnect. Really hurts them.
Yeah, that's going to be Zuko who's taking that DC, unfortunately for them. And now they're going to be sitting here with facing a 2-cap, and it looks like Devil is going to try to get a decap here perhaps, but that is going to be a 2v1, certainly not a 2v1 he's going to be able to win, as he is going to be taken down here by Bob and Zeromus, and it looks like Bob's just going to go ahead and bleed him out. This is certainly looking good for Final Form to be able to take it, but, you know, I kind of would have expected a team like Final Form to maybe be a little bit more dominant in this matchup, and instead just taking it, barely scraping by with
is
the 2-1.
Is it the fact that they're not being more dominant, or the fact that Gems and Tonic is just a little bit better than maybe anticipated? I mean, we knew that they were a good team. They made it into the Pro League, but we didn't really know where they've standed. We haven't seen a whole lot of them outside of Challenger League, and especially against good teams, even like Final Form, which really doesn't give us a whole lot of, you know, variables in terms of how good they could potentially be.
Yeah, and that is going to be time as the game ends 465 to 428 in favor of Final Form, who takes it 2-1.
Let's take a look at the opening splits for game number 1 here, as no crossers coming out here for easy peasy. Meanwhile, we will be seeing the red team push 2, potentially 3 members over to the Henge. Let's take a look back at the map here and take a look at exactly what they're going to be doing. They did stealth up here for the potential cross from Easy Peasy, but they're really going to outman over here at the Henge. Edison's going to use that terrain to his advantage, try and peel them off, get a portal back here from Nero, and make this an even number fight. I like that play coming out there from Blue.
Yeah, and it looks like the red team was able to get the mine pretty early there, and Brenslow's going to be rotating over towards that far point where his team has already aggressed really early on. We are going to be seeing Edison pull off, though. as he was the one taking most of the damage at the beginning. We're seeing actually a portal coming out, forcing red off of that far point and back over towards the mid node. But it's kind of a weird portal, though. I mean, at this point, it's taking them a long time to actually get that rotation. They're not going to be able to surprise anyone, but despite that, they do manage to get that kill off on Edmonton, and they're already looking really good across the map. I really don't think that Duck should be in this fight right now. He needs to rotate out very, very early on here. And looks like he's going to be doing just that. Ostrich Eggs, Ostrich Eggs is going to have time to probably peel back over towards his home node, but I just really don't think that that's the best opportunity for them to do that. I mean, Zora's going to be able to get the decap. Duck needed to be somewhere else at that point.
First team fight going in favor of the red team there. We will be seeing Zora pick up the team's first cap and points of the game. About a minute and a half into this, we will be seeing Nero get taken down there by Duck and Schnicky, along with Brenslow in the area, who are looking to push into this 3v2, outnumbering them around the map with that Mesmer in the downstate there. So are they able to get anything going is the real question here. And it looks like, that opening team fight, of course, red team was in there a little bit earlier, given the fact that they knew they were going there with the opening portal back to that beach. But feels like blue is just a little bit slow to rotate here and really not doing a whole lot in these team fights.
Yeah. Duckling needs to get out right now. I mean, it looks like he's going to be chasing down Nero, who's going over to protect that mine point. He should have been out over there way sooner to get that decap, but despite that, they're still looking pretty strong, and he's going to be probably having to take a potential 1v1 and maybe control that, but not a good rotation there from them, but still just doing work in the team fights for his team, so it doesn't really mean a whole lot at this stage.
And something you had mentioned is Duck being around the fight, being all around the map, being in the team fights isn't something you're going to see as much as you will with other classes, and that's kind of the Thief role right now. You got to be kind of one step ahead all the time, knowing where you need to be. Go get those decaps, and that's how you're going to make the big difference.
You can see it on the map right now. Yeah. He's just doing the same thing, where he has actually not gotten into anything at the moment. It looks like he's finally going to be making the rotation over towards the far point, but not at a good enough time, I don't think, because now he's going to be forced into taking a 1v1 against a Mesmer where he's probably not going to win, and I'm not sure about these rotations. It looks like he is going to get help from another Mesmer, but he just needs to leave. He needs to get out of this fight. This is an equal number fight. This is exactly what you shouldn't be doing on a Thief right now.
We will be seeing blue take that henge into 2 cap for themselves. Going to get a little bit of a point surge and start to make their way, try and get a big lead here. We're going to have actually Zor making his way over to the henge point.
Oh, they do manage to get him with the help of Schnicky, as this is looking like it was a 3v2 there. So luckily for Spooky, they were able to outnumber them and get that fight and turn it into a victory. And now they're going to be leaving Physics here to 1v1 Zor. They're going to be able to also push over.
Like this by Cast actually off respawn to head to the henge. Sure, he gets the decap, but that's kind of the role you need Duck filling. Head to that midpoint, give your team support, give your team, not to say Duck doesn't have damage, but give your team that damage that Duck can't really afford to get on top of himself with a lot of pressure from the other ones. And not to say it was a bad move by any means, but that's kind of staying a step ahead of the other team with the Thief.
It's going to work out, though. I mean, they just walked out of that fight victorious because they were able to put someone on respawn, so they're going to be able to outnumber them at mid. Thieves are still very good in fights where you are going to be able to outnumber them because they're just going to be able to put in easy pressure. They're not going to take as much cleave because, there's just not going to be as many people there. So I think it's fine in that scenario. I wouldn't give him any flack for that at all.
And it looks like Duck's now going to be under a lot of pressure. Ostrich Eggs trying to put out some conditions onto him. Duck's able to keep his distance and move back to the midpoint. Meanwhile, we do have Cast under a heap of pressure. We are going to have blue team pick up that henge cap for themselves and look for the mine as well. Duck making his way over there, going to try and plus that one. Might get a reset. We'll have to see. Take a look at Nero now. He is under a lot of pressure as he's going to get Physics and Brenslow both on top of him. Zor actually going to be almost taken into downstate rebound, keeping him alive for the time being. Has his heal up in about 5 seconds now, but Duck's all over him now, and he is in a lot of trouble right here.
Yeah, Zor's going to be able to get his heal off right now, though, and get back up to full health, and looks like he's going to be able to potentially take a 1v1 against Duck, and I think he's probably got the favor in that one, as he's going to be able to start off with the overload air, forcing Duck off at this, and it's going to be Cast who's going to be honing in on Zor instead, and I think that they're just probably going to be leaving that as a neutralized point and try to force the fight over towards the midpoint here. Schnick is already kind of low. Edmonton trying to take him down. Schnick is extremely low. Certainly close to being taken out, although he does manage to get some heals from his teammate. Ostrich Eggs right now at full HP, but taking a lot of Condi pressure. Is a mode right now. So much CC. Look at that. The Wombo combo taking Ostrich Eggs out completely.
That was all Schnicky there with that surge in the miss. He hit like 100% of that and just destroyed Ostrich Eggs. Gonna end up help his team win this team fight as Edison, despite getting that rampage with the Elixir X, he's just going to head right on out of that, making his way back into it. Maybe it was just a thought that they had lost a team fight, but with Zor still here, there's plenty of support to go around. They should be able to hold on to a 2v3, make it a 2v2 now with Brenslow heading out of this fight. I'm very surprised that they wanted to leave that one before they had actually won the fight. They're forcing a 3v1 over here at the mine point. They really want their home node against Nero.
Yeah, a lot of pressure coming out there actually from Schnicky onto Edison, and they could potentially win this one pretty quick if they just keep focusing the pressure out. But it is going to be Edmonton all over Schnicky right now, getting a lot of good blocks off though, mitigating a lot of that damage as well. But over at the mine, we are going to be seeing red team getting pretty close to getting that cap, and they do manage to get it there. And Ostrich Eggs putting out a ton of damage onto Physics. I mean, they're still going to be able to hold on to this point though. Brenslow is on the point. Going to be able to get some heals for his teammate, and they're going to be peeling off and forcing some pressure onto Ostrich, who is going to be basically forced to take it at this stage from both of these guys, as he's going to be mowed as well.
Schnicky, though, taken into the downstate, got a little bit of help from Zor, or rather we saw Edmonton get the help from Zor. Now Duck looking for a decap here. Probably the right move on his end, but Edmonton's going to be able to keep up with him with that Shiro. So not going to be able to pick up a decap here, and we are going to see a 2-cap come out for the blue team, who will take their first lead of the game now. Meanwhile, we do have that 1v1 still going on at midpoint between Edison and Cass, who gets the tornado now. Still taking a lot of damage. Have to see if he's able to get his heal. Doesn't have his heal for another 5 seconds. He's under a lot of pressure right now. Might be able to keep himself alive with that Elixir S coming out for him, and we'll have his heal outside of that. So he should be okay. No, Duck going to plus that one and take him out, eliminate him from the fight. Function Gyro going to get the stomp, and once again, red team might be able to get something out of this with the decap, especially over at the mine from Physics.
Yeah, Duck looking a lot more comfortable now, as he has kind of found his role and really kind of running with it at this stage. And I think that he's getting a little bit more comfortable, it seems. Perhaps able to take Zor out pretty soon here. It looks like he's going to be rolling out of this one instead. Not really sure. I don't really think he's really sure what he's doing. It looks like he's going to be going over towards the hinge this time, plus that fight out, although blue team is right behind them. Edison right there, as well as Zor, going to be able to plus this. Edmonton is coming out of that shield block there, and he does have the ability to go over to Herald pretty soon here.
Physics actually almost taken down in the roads. Continuum going to keep him alive. Does have his heal that gets wailed there by Ostrich Eggs. Getting a little bit of support from Cass. Might be able to keep himself up. If Ostrich Eggs is able to hold him down here, you can see a decap from Nero, who came behind the keep. And there's no portal here, so that will be a decap. Once again, coming out for the blue team, who looks so comfortable, so strong right now, as they just dominate all over the map, forcing red out of every fight possible.
Yeah, Nero's going to take a lot of heat for this, though. Duck's all over it. But if Nero keeps focusing a lot of that pressure out, he could potentially put a lot of latent damage out on Duck, but it's not going to be enough. Duck's going to be able to finish that one off with his team, and they're going to be able to get that cap off as well, probably. Duck's going to be looking to put some pressure down onto Ostrich along with Physics, so they get a lot of CC out on him. He does have that full Reaper Shroud, though, so he's going to be able to peel out for a little bit of a couple seconds here, it looks like, get back onto the point. Duck's not looking too healthy at the moment.
We actually saw Schnicky and Brenslow taken down by both the Revenant and Engineer of the blue team by Chieftain. So I believe Brenslow went in for the res on Schnicky, got hit with the Surge of the Mist by Edmonton, and they're able to finish him off there and win a 2v2. However, Ostrich Eggs taken down in the 2v1 over here. We're going to see a portal come out there from Physics. Not exactly sure what he's hoping to accomplish there. Oh, looks like he is going to go through the portal, get to the mid node, just a little bit of a slow move, as Duck does get the cap on the mine node, or rather he will. Brenzel looking for a 1v1 against Edison, but blue over a 100-point lead now looking super strong to try and take this game number 1.
Yeah, I definitely think I would have liked to see that portal like, a couple seconds later, maybe, perhaps, so Duck could get back, but didn't look like that was an option for them at that point. Cass taken down now at the midpoint. Brenslow gonna get that SNR off right now, and he looks like he's gonna be able to maybe get him back up. There's a lot of pressure being put down on him, but despite that, they are gonna get him back up and into it. He's back up to full HP just like that as well. He's gonna be chasing them off potentially back towards their hinge, but blue team still looking good with that 2-cap.
Ostrich Eggs looked for the 1v1 with Duck, got Schnicki along with him, might be able to pick up a decap. Has Chill to the bone, but outside of that, doesn't have a whole lot left. Is he able to keep himself alive? I'm very surprised that Edmonton didn't make his way over here. Maybe he already thought it was a lost fight. Maybe Ostrich Eggs called him off. Still, picks up a decap over at the mine in the process and looking to 1v2. Doesn't quite get it, but still pulls off 2 members, 2 of the highest damage members on the side of the red team over to him, really keeping them at bay from these other fights, which easy peasy seem to be dominating.
Yeah, and the fact that he was able to get the decap with it in that 2v1 is definitely something that Spooky does not want to have happen. So they're going to be able to get the cap off. It looks like we're going to be seeing a huge fight here at both mid and hinge, as we are going to be seeing Duck get out of combat finally here. And it looks like he's going to be waiting to rotate. Looks like he's going to be going over towards that far point, which is going to be potentially plussed by Ostrich Eggs. They already have Physics and Brenslow down. Or actually Physics close to being down.
He will be falling, yeah.
Yeah, that stun should be it.
Connie's coming out there from Ostrich Eggs in Nero, going to finish him off. Zor taken down at mid from the plus as Duck decided to head to keep, seeing as his team had already lost Hench. 45 points away from a victory here for easy peasy as they continue to maintain the 2-cap. Probably going to end up losing mid, but are going to go for Chieftain as we have Edison and Nero both on top of him. Get the 25-point boost and will be claiming game number 1 for their own as we have easy peasy 501 to 290 from Spooky. So congrats to them taking game number 1.
We do have game 1 underway here.
Edison heading to the waterfall. Brenslow to the quarry, a 3-point push. A little bit of a lot of aggression coming out here for Spooky. Let's take a look back at these guys as they're making a huge push over towards the waterfall, trying to take down Edison. Edison is in a very defensive spot right now, expecting something. Duck and Schnicki going to try and catch someone out in the roads now. Spooky, basically the same split as they did in the last game, and Nero forced out of the fight, allowing Brenslow to pick up the first points of the game here for Spooky.
Looks like red team already, getting that quarry. Big deal for them, actually, as, if they're able to hold off this team fight, that's just going to be free points for them throughout this fight. And it looks like Schnicki is going to be the one taking most of this pressure. Doesn't have too much in the form of energy, so he is going to be going down here. Blue team already looking like they're going to be getting that stomp off. Zor is going to be able to get it there. So blue team getting this graveyard already only a minute into this game, and probably get a kill on Cass too. Yeah,
that MOA really proven to be worthy there for Nero. He's going to help them out. They're going to portal as Nero, that was his original plan. They portal back to the quarry and going to try and pick up a kill onto Brenslow. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Edison's under a lot of pressure here after that tornado. Pulled out, got his heal back up for himself, trying to get on top of Duck and Physics. It really feel like Duck Physics are at a disadvantage here. Physics leaving this fight, so is Duck. We could see a 2-cap right away here. Potentially a 3-cap actually coming out now for the blue team, and I think they will be getting a 3-cap a couple minutes into this game.
Yeah, that's huge right there. And talk about momentum. I mean, that's a huge deal for them. Nero going to be able to pull back, and Duck already trying to look for a decap. They do manage to get it there as they're pulling the fight over towards the quarry right now. Looks like they're going to be trying to take out Ostrich, which is going to be their probably main focus throughout this this match. But again, this is another situation where the Thief is in an equal number fight, and that's not a situation you want to be in unless you can really isolate one of these players. And it looks like that player is going to be Ostrich Eggs, as he's right now about 50% HP. Duck's going to be able to force a lot of damage onto him, perhaps get him down here, and he does manage to get that downstate with the help of Schnicki.
It wasn't even an equal number fight. Edison's sitting at the waterfall, not sure what he's expecting. That just must be poor communication by the rest of his team. Oh, he's waiting for a portal. You can't really, I wouldn't say you can wait for the portal. You don't just leave your team outnumbered and wait for the portal at the waterfall. You're just going to have to give up with that and hope that you can eventually overcome in the other fight, and they didn't. They gave up the quarry node, giving the point back to Spooky. Nero taken out here. And although Spooky got 3-cap there and didn't look too great, they are good players. They can come back from something like this.
Yeah, it looks like they are going to be able to get the full kill off on Nero. Duck now at about 30% HP. It looks like he's just kind of guarding that quarry, waiting for an opportunity to get into that fight, and he does find it here, trying to once again take Ostrich Eggs down. Ostrich Eggs looks like he's pretty good, and I do expect Duck to go back over towards that waterfall, and he does look like he's trying to make that rotation.
Schnicki under a lot of pressure here, got hit by that chill to the bone, as doesn't have a whole lot left after this because no glint heal for him is available, and he's going to get that unrelenting assault by Edmonton. Going to dodge a little bit of it, and he might actually be taken down here. We'll have to see how this progresses. Nero Vitus actually went for the decap, gets it over at the quarry, going to probably pick up a full cap. Meanwhile, Cast is trying to get the res, pops Elixir S from the traits there. Going to be taken down himself. Duck looking for somewhere to go, and is not going to find that anywhere close to that graveyard or quarry node, and decides to pick up the kill onto Edison, and is just turnaround from the quarry fight to the waterfall. Still 2-cap coming out here for easy peasy and looking so dominant early on.
Yeah, the last time we saw both Schnicki and Cast going down, we saw 3-cap happen just moments later, and potentially we could see that once again, although they were able to kill off Edison, so the map presence for blue team isn't going to be as much, but despite that, I mean,
Ooh.
Nero, if he was able to get a little bit more of that fear there, man, that would have been a decap. They are going to be able to hold on to as Physics was able to rotate in. This is going to be a 1v1 between both of these Mesmers here with the Mercenary Amulet, so...
I mean, they pick up a kill onto Edmonton.
Oh, there's the decap! Physics let it go!
Oh, Physics. They did kill Edmonton at the midpoint. Blue team still holding on off of respawn. It looks like Cass might be able to pick up a decap over at the quarry because Nero doesn't have a portal on it. Obviously, he's over at the waterfall. Wouldn't reach anyways, so a 1-cap will be still coming out here for Easy Peasy, who have hit the 250 point mark just 5 minutes into this game. Edmonton off respawn. Nero taken into the downstate. I don't like this move by Edmonton to go into this fight. He's actually going to go right through that portal, so that was a communication there. That was his portal, went right through it to the mid, and going to try and eliminate Brenslow, who is just mowed from that Toss Elixir X, and is under a heap of pressure. Might actually be taken down here.
Yeah, Brenslow getting low, Physics getting low, doesn't have a lot of opportunity to get back up. Ostrich Egg's actually extremely low himself. Nero was already stomped. I mean, looking good for Red Team to maybe make a comeback here, as they are going to be able to put a ton of condies down on Ostrich Eggs. He's going to be obliterated there. They're going to be able to get that free stomp for sure, as Zor is the only one left. And if they could put down some pressure on him too, they could definitely get a pretty successful team fight out of this one. They're going to be able to get that full cap as well.
First 2-cap of the game here for Spooky.
Yep.
6 minutes into this one. Nero, though, following up on that with a decap himself off of respawn over at the quarry now. And it looks like Cast wanted to go over there. Is going to be trained down by Edmonton for a little bit. Edmonton going to leave Nero in that 1v1. I don't think he's going to be able to pick up the cap. Nero knows that. That's not going to be happening anytime soon. So that will just progress. That might take a little bit. Taking a look at the mid fight. No, there's not going to be much of a mid fight. We have 2 rotations over here towards the quarry. Meanwhile, Zor down at the mid node is going to be stomped out now, and still down over 100 points for Spooky, but they have definitely looked better in the last couple of minutes than they did in the opening 2.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what they did last game, though, too, and they wound up losing that one. So they have a lot of struggle at the beginning as they try to adjust to the map, because, again, they don't really have that much experience together, certainly much experience together on these maps, and, you know, that's kind of showing.
Oh, my goodness. What was that by Spooky? I don't like that move at all coming out from them. Physics threw down a portal, let Schnicki go through, who almost killed Edison. Physics comes back, doesn't realize Edison is sitting there with 50% HP thanks to his heal, and takes out Physics in the process. Going to get a full cap. I like the portal play by Physics, but I don't like the fact that Schnicki went right on through it.
And here we go with a Necro Elementalist 2v2 against a Revenant and a Thief. If Zora is able to get just a couple more heals off to Ostrich, this is not the fight you want to be in at all, and it looks like that is going to be basically what we're getting into here. Schnicki's probably going to be going down soon. I mean, Duck does not want to be here. Schnicki should be rotating out and getting replaced by someone else. Yep. Cass needs to be in that fight. It looks like they are going to be making that rotation, and Duck's going to be going back. And again, Duck does not need to be in these fights.
I think blue team could go for Lord if they wanted to right now. They're in a 3v2, or 2v2 rather, I think, over here at the quarry node. Meanwhile, it looks like Jakes was taken down. Tusselixer X going to come out there. They're able to get him back up into the midst of this fight. Cass looking for a decap. Schnicky might be taken down as well, as Jakes looks like he had a little bit of a spike there, but he is going to be okay and still holding on to a 2-cap. 100 points to go for Easy Peasy to claim their first set and start out 1-0.
Yeah, they're probably not really looking to get a Lord push at this stage of the game. I mean, perhaps if they can get their Mesmer over there, Nero, to maybe set up for it. Doesn't look like that is going to be the case, as he's just rotating over towards that mid-fight. They already got a kill off on Physics right here with Edmonton. They don't necessarily know where Duck is. Looks like he's just kind of meandering around in middle as well. So we are going to be potentially seeing Nero go for it now, as he is making moves over towards that gate, just kind of looking at it, staring it down, although ultimately I don't think that they're going to be going for it here.
60 points away from a victory, and it doesn't look like it'll be going anywhere for Spooky. Brenslow going to be taken into the downstate. Duck looking to try and make something happen at the waterfall, but as long as they hold that graveyard and quarry, all will be fine for them as this fight progresses over at the waterfall. What a way to start for Easy Peasy. 2-0 over Spooky now. And starting out 1-0, I mean, couldn't ask for a better start there.
Yeah, and I think honestly it's just kind of a misappropriation of how they're using the Thief and where they're using the Thief. A lot of times we're seeing Duck, even right now, just kind of in a 2v2 that really he should have no part in. I mean, that's a Necro there, that's an Elementalist there. You're not going to be able to just rip one of those guys down, and you're certainly not going to be able to out-sustain them with an Engie there. So, I mean, I'm not sure how I feel about that one in particular. 500-182 that last game, 2-0 for Easy Peasy, making it look pretty easy, man. So this is going to be a huge, huge match, and I don't think either team really knows what they're getting themselves into, but this is going to be a big one.
Opening splits for game number 1 of our final set of the day. We do have some crossers for both teams. Let's go ahead and head over to the beach now, take a look at what's going to be going down. As Feav already taken a lot of damage here coming out there from Toker. Forced to use that shield block already. Toker all over him from the start.
Yeah, and Feav needs to kind of return fire right now, and this is his opportunity to do so. 5 gauge coming in, though. I don't know if they know that he's on Mercenary Amulet right now, or sorry, not Mercenaries, but actually Marauder Amulet right now with the pack runes. That's a lot of damage coming out from him, and Toker is going to be able to help him clean that one up. Function Gyro is going to be able to get that one off as well, but Hinge has been capped for the blue team, so they are going to be able to kind of keep up in points. Ulrun, in the meantime, is going to get extremely low, and Toker is just honestly kind of on a rampage at this stage, and just making sure that he's just keeping people just completely pressured out.
Is that good at Revenant. He's really good at keeping up the pressure. Oh, going to get clipped by the precision strike there, and Toker going to take out Ulrun. Nas heading to that mid node on top of Sunfish. Have to see potentially, I mean, 2 of the top Necros in the NA scene right here. Sunfish and Nas going at it below the keep. Going to get some help from the rest of their team now, as both teams holding onto a 1-cap. A slight lead in favor of Never Lucky, but nonetheless, it's going to come down to a team fight at the start of this game.
Yeah, and a good portal there, getting Sunfish out of that. That is exactly what they needed to do there. He might actually go down to the bleeds, maybe, and does, but he's going to be safe nonetheless. Going to be able to get himself back up, I think. Looks like he is going to be able to do that, but we are going to be seeing Fanaram coming, so it's really going to be down to Sunfish getting himself back up as soon as he possibly can. Is Fanaram going to be able to make it?
I think he is.
Yep, he just managed to get it there.
And
the stomp goes off as well, so a huge time waste there. And he does, they do manage to hold the point there at least. Ulrun able to make that rotation, so good job from him. If he can make sure to get a couple of ticks back, that'll be great. But Toker has been eliminated, it looks like, over here.
They all down 2, and Nas, they are able to get him back up as Aerox was in the down state, went in for the res, Nas and Chaith that would be, as they're actually going to look for a 2v1 over there at the henge point. Meanwhile, Astral Authority still holding on to a 2-cap now, starting to build a lead. Nas under a lot of pressure right here, needs to be careful, does have that 100% HP in that Shroud, should be okay for the time being.
This is not good for Steel. He's going to get pretty low here, probably going to be taken down if he doesn't get some support, and it looks like they're not going to be able to lend it to him. And look at the terrain from Team Astral Authority here, actually, and it looks like Aerox is going to be able to get this stomp off, so they're actually looking pretty good despite having that sub.
Good portal coming out there from Fanaram, going to lead the way over towards that Henge node, pick up a decap for themselves, and Never Lucky left wondering what happened without a point now as they start to slowly fall behind in game number 1. Team fight here at mid, 2v2, 3v2 rather, going in favor of Astral Authority, of course, having the extra man here. So what is Never Lucky going to make of this? It looks like they're sending Steel to plus the mine fight, try and get something going against Nas over there.
Yeah, and it's really kind of coming down to, I don't think that Feov is really having as much of an impact as I think Never Lucky is used to seeing from him. And I mean, I think a lot of that is down to the fact that Toker is just playing so well and countering just basically across the board. 5Gauge actually gets him there with a huge slick shoes, and they're going to be able to follow that one up. Looks like Stal not going to be able to get too much support at the beginning there, but Sunfish is going to be taken out over at the Henge, which is going to be capped for Astral, and they're going to be moving back over towards that midpoint, it looks like, where already it's pretty in favor of Astral, I'd say, at the moment.
Nas kind of backing off, gonna let Steel head out of that one, who dropped the portal. I don't like the fact that he's going back. I mean, he's going back in this, has the portal down, so kind of wasting that portal, I want to say, given the fact he decided to go back into the fight. I think he originally left because Aerox was hanging out there. Meanwhile, off respawn, Sunfish is going to be met by Fanaram. He's going to get a little bit of help from Feov. We'll have to see if he's going to make that impact that you were talking about. They're not used to him not having as much of a presence as they usually does, but nonetheless, Astral Authorities really have built themselves a decent lead about 4.5 minutes into this one.
Yeah, Feov all over Fanaram right now, getting some good support there from Aerox. He's just going to peel right back over to the mid fight. Very good, really good rotation there from Aerox, I have to say. And it looks like they're going to be able to get full cap over on Henge for Never Lucky, and they're just going to be looking to rotate into this mid fight to try to put some damage down. Looks like actually they're going to be potentially portaling out here. Feov might not be able to make it through, but does just in the nick of time and able to get that decap as well. And Nas is looking to kind of see if he can make a move in there, and he has his team behind him. 5Gauge actually getting pressured pretty hard here from Ulrun before going into Elixir S. He does have that stealth gyro, so Ulrun is going to be able to get some caps going. You have to remember that Ulrun does have that Paladin's Amulet right now, so he's going to have...
Taking down the 1v1, I do want to point out, by Sunfish. So Sunfish taking him out there, that's a pretty big pickup as they need their home node back and starting to make their way into this game. Steel, though, in the downstate, Aerox is going to be able to pick up that stomp. They just cleaved it out, didn't even need it. Nas now is trying to put out the damage with Toker onto Feov, who seems to be the next target. Oh, a huge burst coming down onto Feov, who used his heal in Glance Stance, not able to get a whole lot of heals out of it. He's going to be taken down here. There's no way he's staying alive. Good support from Stalacta, but it's just not enough in this situation. Was a 3v2, now a 2v2, and Stalacta going to be forced out of this one as, once again, Astral Authority showing their dominance.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what Feov was doing there. I mean, I'm not really sure if I like the fact that he just kind of waltzed right back into that fight when he did have a potential safety net of just, you know, rotating to mid instead, where there was going to be another fight, a fight that we are seeing actually happening right now, where Sunfish and Ulrun are now taking a 2v2 with the NG and the Elementalist from Astral here. But that's obviously not a fight they want to take. Looks like Sunfish is going to notice that, and looks like he's going to peel out. Not sure, he might actually go over to that mine for an easy decap. That is going to be the case, and I don't think anyone's going to be able to see it coming.
I'm pretty surprised that they put Feov to +1 Fanaram. Of course, Fanaram was forced out of that fight, but was it really needed? They lost him in the process. Ulrun's down. Not to say Feov would have had a major impact at the mid-fight, but they just blusted off of respawn and ended up losing that mid-fight. Should be able to pick up the cap, though, over at the mine, so it might all work out in the end for them as 5Gauge and Nas start to move over towards that node. Feov below the keep. Steel Illusions might actually be able to pick up a decap. Nothing's even close. He will get a decap. Fanaram picks up a decap himself, tries to get back to the Henge node in time, is not able to do so, and Never Lucky clawing their way back into this one.
Yeah, just by the skin of their teeth, by the looks of it, and Nas is taking a lot of pressure as Sunfish accepted so much that playing very well defensively there, and Ulrun's going to be able to come in and get some support as well. So looking good for them to hold on to this mine point. Probably going to be a 1v1 between Ulrun and Shaith, and Shaith is extremely good in this matchup actually, and has been known to do very, very well in terms of locking the other guy down and putting a lot of damage down and winning that 1v1. But Ulrun is on that Paladin's Amulet, has had a lot of practice in just kind of trolling this point and you know, kind of playing defensively. So I don't know, this could go on for quite a while, which obviously is in Never Lucky's favor as they did just get the 2 cap. This is certainly looking good for them right now.
We have a huge push coming out here for 3 members on top of 5Gauge who's already on the node. from Astral Authority. Toker and Nas looking fairly healthy here. They're going to get on top of Sunfish, perhaps. No, they're going straight for Ulrun. Must have been communicated that Ulrun didn't have a whole lot of cooldowns there from Chase, so good communication there. He actually does have a few, so they just decided to get on top of him regardless, and he will use that sneak gyro to keep himself alive for the time being, as this mine node is actually decapped, and a portal play I think came out there. No, just a big rotation rather coming out there from Never Lucky to the mid node, trying to take down Fanaram. Fanaram continuum split, keeping him alive for the time being, but he's going to be taken into the downstate, and they're going to pick up their own decap here, as they are so close to coming back and taking their first lead of the game.
Yeah, and this is a great job from them, just playing the rotations game. This is exactly how 55 beat this Team Astro in the finals, and this is exactly how they need to play if they want to come away with a victory on this map as well. They're just basically reading a page out of the book from 55, and this is a great job from them making these rotations. They're doing a good job for sure.
Toker looking for his next victim. Going to make it a 2v3 over at the mine point. Nas needs help. Fanaram off of respawn. Going to give him some extra help. Aerox, though, under so much pressure, was Moed at the mid node. 5Gauge keeping him alive with that sneak gyro. I'm very surprised that Feov hasn't went for the sneak gyro. He just kind of sat there and used his abilities defensively. Not exactly sure what he was hoping to accomplish with that. Aerox, meanwhile, 100% HP once again, moving their target practice on to 5Gauge, who's keeping himself up for the most part, has his heal up in a few seconds. Elixir S going to pop. Sunfish, meanwhile, is taken down over there at the mine point, as Nas is under a lot of pressure as well. Might be able to get him back up, but I don't think that's happening, and able to take out Sunfish over here at mine.
Yeah, and this is unfortunate. I mean, they definitely had the opportunity to take out Nos pretty early on, weren't able to get a lot of that pressure out, but despite that, they were able to get Aerox down. They were able to get Chase down as well. If they can make sure that they get these guys to full dead, put them on respawn, this will be a big pickup. Feov getting the bleed and the stomp off is huge for them. They're going to be back into a 2-cap, and they're going to be pretty close to taking the lead here.
Fanaram looking for the 1v1 with Steel over at the Henge. Sunfish off respawn, potentially looking for mine, as Toker is going to try and get in the kill onto Spawner here. I'm not so sure. I guess it's a pretty quick kill. There's not a whole lot that Astral Authority was actually trying to do in this time, so that was good use of his time, as they're getting pressured heavily over at the mine point. Have to see if they're going to be able to make a big push for Never Lucky here and try and pick up a decap, as Ulrun's still in that 1v1 against Fanaram, swapped himself out with Steel. What do you think about Never Lucky pushing for this third node?
I actually kind of like it. It's forcing them away from that midpoint that they want to hold on to, and this is a great job from them. Feov getting kind of low, though, needs to play very, very defensively at this stage to make sure that he doesn't kind of ruin this, because as long as they're playing defensively, as long as they're making sure that they don't lose anyone, this is an outstanding play from them, just to keep the fight away from that midpoint that they just want to get free points from.
But
and this is actually classic stuff from what Absurd has always done.
Ulrun taken down in the 1v1. And that's going to be brutal. It's going to, I mean, this is a tie game. 4 minutes remaining here. Both teams at 353 now with a 1-cap, but Astral Authority will pick up the 2-cap for themselves. Meanwhile, Steel in a 2v1 with Feov against 5Gauge, who might have gotten a little help from Nas. Actually, no, that was just some of his shambling horrors who were making their way back from the mid node, as Nas is still over at that mine point. But it really feels like Never Lucky's all over the map right here, not exactly sure what they need to do. I think they need to make another assault on that home node and try and take it back, regardless of Fanaram being there.
Feov getting really low and taking a lot of pressure, and he is going to go down here. A huge amount of damage coming out from Astral, and able to get the stomp off is going to be Aerox, and they're going to be moving into this fight already kind of heavy-handed. We do see a decap, and this is going to potentially turn into a 1v1 between Nos and Sunfish, and Sunfish does have the advantage, as Nos is already at about 40%, and it looks like he is going to pull out the Plague Signet too and cause Nos to miss, so that's going to be a free win for sure for Sunfish if he just stays on it. Looks like he's going to hold the decap here.
We are going to see Feov off respawn go for the Henge. Fanaram does have the portal. Meanwhile, they take down Stalacta. Fanaram, is he going to get through that portal in time? No, it actually expired. He had it just a few moments ago. It expired now, so he's going to get decapped there. We could potentially see Sunfish pick up a full cap over at the mine. No, that's not going to happen. We actually see Chait now picking up a decap over at the midpoint. All nodes are decapped except Henge, which it looks like we saw Feov off a respawn, able to pick it up. Needs support now, though. This is such a close game. This could come down to that Chieftain kill.
Yeah, it really could, but they're probably going to be able to get mine pretty soon if Aerox isn't going to be able to do something about it. It looks like he is able to get on point. They need to get back onto Nos here, focus a lot of pressure down on him. They do just that, it looks like, and it looks like the portal is going to come out as well, and they're going to be going straight over towards that midpoint and just leaving Stal on here. This is actually a huge play because they're going to trick him out here. Sunfish back on it already, put a ton of pressure down on Nos. They were not able to interrupt the heal though, and that would have been it. That certainly would have been enough to take him down. Despite that, that is going to turn into a couple of skirmishes around the map with Fayav down though.
Needs massive help over here. Fayav was taken out in the 2v2. Olrun able to keep himself alive and pull them off the node. Going to get Fayav off of respawn. Still a little low on cooldowns. I'm pretty certain they're going to put some of their pressure onto Olrun here instead of Fayav, who has all of his cooldowns, of course, coming off of respawn. All 3 nodes decapped, 130 remaining in this first game here. Even fights throughout the map. The health pool's definitely favoring Astral Authority now. What does Never Lucky make of this?
I mean, they need something probably in the next 30 seconds, and if nothing happens in that time frame, I mean, they have to go for him. They have to go for him. They absolutely have to go for him. If they don't get those, then I mean, it's game.
Oh, Jay almost taking down Steel. Steel, what are you doing? Going back, put your heel down. He needs to keep himself alive here. He knows they cannot give up this point now. He leaves a portal down, is going to leave the node now, give up that node for themselves. Meanwhile, Fayav in the downstate, Olrun so low. Sunfish is almost down over at the mine point as well. They get Fayav back up, 45 seconds remaining. We do see Steel starting out on Chieftain now. I wouldn't be surprised if he picked up the Chieftain kill and went back to mid, but Chait is just sitting there.
Yeah, he is just sitting there, and they need to just leave him. They need to absolutely just leave him or go all in on him and just probably try to take a 3v1 or something like that. That could work for them.
Chieftain kill.
20 seconds left in this game.
There's a Chieftain kill. He's going to portal back to the mid node. They have to get spawn here. Even so, if Fayav is killed off here, I think this game, even with the kill on this spawn here, it's not going to do anything for him. They had to get another node. 10 seconds remaining, and Astral Authority going to be coming up with game number 1 as time expires. I don't think that spawn here kill is going to go through. Picking up a victory, 474 to 440. Taking a look at the opening splits for game number 2. If Astral Authority take this one, they will be starting out 1-0 in the Pro League here, as looks like Nos is going to be heading to the quarry along with Toker. Meanwhile, Olrun heading over to the waterfall, going to be met by both Aerox potentially and Fanarim heading back to the map though. There's a huge push coming out here from Never Lucky over towards the quarry.
Yeah, this is definitely an interesting setup here. Nos and Toker together, and this is going to be a 3v2. Toker probably going to want to play this very, very defensively and just kind of let Nos take a lot of free casting. And the damage coming out from Fayav, that's one thing that he's gotten so much better at, is just setting up a bunch of burst on that that Revenant there. Unfortunately, though, playing defensively might not be his strong suit, and it looks like they're going to be able to get a lot of pressure now onto Nos instead, as he did just use his heal. So this is their opportunity, and we have to remember that this was a 2v3, although it did become a 3v3 now as Aerox has joined the fight, and it looks like they're trying to pressure Sunfish out, and it's going to be up to Stal to get that heal onto Sunfish as soon as he comes out, and he nails it too, getting him back up to about 80%. Fortunately, Toker going to be able to get him back down to about 50.
Nos has like no cooldowns remaining. This would be consume conditions up in a few seconds here, but still prime opportunity if they want to put their focus down onto him. But Toker seems to be the prime target here. Over a minute in, no teams without a single point yet. So it seems like Sunfish is still under a lot of pressure here from Toker, doing a good job of keeping up with him, and they might be the first points of the game. He's so close to being taken down outside of the shroud. He has nothing left. Consume conditions up. He's going to be taken down, and Toker able to do a lot of damage onto him. I'm surprised he even left him right there, because Stalactid might be able to pick up the res.
Oh, I'm not so sure about it. They do have a ton of CC, so they're going to be able to clinch that one. 5 gauge over at the graveyard has been taken out, and it looks like Fayav's going to probably be able to solidify that with that knockback, and they're going to get the Mow off on Aerox as well. If they can get a kill on Aerox, this is actually a huge amount of momentum for them, and they actually do manage to get at Fayav getting it with Surge of the Mist. And that actually is a huge setup for them for getting that 4v3, and they're going to be able to potentially rotate into that waterfall, get the 2v1. This is definitely a good position for them to be in.
Olrun was Moa trying to hide behind the corner here, do what he can with that terrain. Very surprised he didn't just leave the node, but as soon as Fanarim got plussed by Fayav, he knew he had to get out of there. Couldn't take that much pressure from 2 guys, and Fanarim 4,500 health remaining. He needs to get out of this fight because he has that he needs to stay alive because he has that portal at any time to go back. He is actually going to be taken down. Feov, relentless here, able to get him back up.
Just a second too late, and he's going to portal back, get into that 1v1 yet again. Although it looks like he's just, yep, he is going to go back into it right
with
onto
Nos
the
as well.
shoes.
So Nos and Phantom in that 2v1 here.
But this is what Olrun's basically known for. I mean, they can give up the decap. They don't really care that much. As long as they're holding these two guys here for a long period of time where they could potentially get a kill at the midpoint, especially on someone as impactful as Toker, I'd take that trade all day.
Olrun doing his best, running around. We are going to see Steel head for a decap over at the quarry. Not give them too much of a point boost with that one cap. 5Gage actually following him up. Going to look for a 1v1. Toker taken down at the midpoint, as you had pointed out. He's going to get stomped out and going to be in a 1v3 now for Aerox. Needs to get out of this one. Nas started to move back here as they pick up the waterfall, and Blue picks up the Graveyard node. That's a very big pickup, regardless of it being a one cap for both teams. Graveyard, tough node to get back.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I said, you know what, it doesn't matter if they give up the waterfall. It's going to be easy for them to get back, as that's their home node, so they can easily just plus it off of, you know, respawn if they have to, if it really comes down to that. But getting that Graveyard is such a big deal in terms of having overall map control, because you have to pass it in order to get over towards the other side of the map. So that's definitely a good move on their part. I like what I'm seeing so far. 5Gage right now getting really low over on the quarry, and they just kind of isolated him out of this one. So overall, Never Lucky really looking strong this map despite being down so far.
Feov took a huge chunk of damage there. Rebound on him right here from Aerox. He's able to dish out some heals, and he should be okay, regardless of the pressure coming out there from Toker, who doesn't land that elite. Nos is in the area as well with Aerox. So pretty even match fight over here. 5Gage off of respawn, looking to head towards the Graveyard potentially, as we see Sunfish looking for a 1v1 Phantom. So these guys continuously pushing pressure to 3 nodes here. None of them really satisfied with playing 2 points.
Yeah, and they're always going to want to probably play that way. I mean, this is a mirror match setup, so I mean, they're going to probably mirror each other in terms of their play and their rotations. It's really going to come down to who's just playing better. But Sunfish landing a lot of damage onto Phantom there, and that's actually going to line them up to potentially get a full cap on that waterfall unless Phantom comes back through. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. So they are going to be able to get that full cap. They are still holding onto that Graveyard because, yet again, I mean, this is just Olrun doing what Olrun does best, which is just troll people, and that's exactly what he's doing here. Elixir S is going to be forced out. He might get killed. Feov was already taken out, so they need to be very, very careful here. And it looks like Style is going to be able to help him out. So they're going to be able to troll this down, and certainly long enough for Feov to come back up off of respawn. But Phantom is the one that needs to be worried, as he's got nothing left but that distortion right now.
Sunfish outside of Shroud sitting pretty healthy. Steel, though, doesn't have a whole lot left. He's going to portal right on back to that quarry, pick up a decap for themselves. Toker looking for him potentially, knows he's there, knows he doesn't really want to take that, wants to try and take out the outnumbered fight. This is a 3v5 right here. With Fail back in it, will be a 4v5, but Sunfish is under so much pressure. Look at the Condi pressure on him. He's going to be taken down outside of the Shroud. There's no way he's going to be staying alive. There he is in the down state. Function Gyro going to be coming out there for 5Gage. Probably going to try and get that one. No, Aerox actually going to finish off the stomp. Meanwhile, a 3 cap, very briefly there, coming out there for Never Lucky, who are forced out of the mid node, which is honestly the way to play, given the fact they're outnumbered there.
Yeah, and they need to get into these kind of weird 2v2s right now, or 2v3s rather, and definitely Olrun being in a 1v2 like this is certainly good for them, as he does have that Elixir C, so he should be able to sustain this for a little bit. Although getting Moed right now is certainly not conducive to a victory at all, as he's going to be going down so quick, and they're going to be able to get the probably full cap for sure, as we are looking at for rotations towards mid, as Style was able to hold on to that one and make sure that it was maintained neutralized.
It's a very good rotation, bringing both Nos and Phantom over there. They were fairly confident, obviously, they could hold on to mid while that happened. Now Toker, Glint heal, keeping him alive. Gonna get Phantom back to this node as Olrun is being bled out. So this will be a 5v4 in favor of Astral Authority. Nos, though, needs to be careful. He's in a bad spot, has 100% Shroud. Once it's up in a couple of seconds now, should have his cooldowns back once he gets out of that, if he so chooses to go into it. Feov, though, is in the down state. Sunfish taking a lot of pressure as well, doesn't have anything remaining for himself, and I think we'll have a 2 cap coming out here for the red team.
Yeah, for sure, and Sunfish certainly going to be taken out as well, and that bleed is going to finish it off, as Toker does land a precision strike just to get him close enough, and they're going to be able to bleed him out. Get the 2-cap as well, so Astral coming back in this one, it looks like, as Nos was able to hold on, still holding on right now, actually, as he is still at about 30%, 40%.
Good portal from Fanaram, matching Oren off of respawn, but it will be 1v2 now, as we do have Fav off of respawn as well. I have to see if Aerox wants to move over towards that node. It looks like he is. A little slow to that process, however, Slacta in the downstate. He's going to get portaled out by Steel. Is going to go right on down and try and get away from Toker, who might come in with the Surge and Miss. He should be able to get him back up, does get him back up into this fight, while we do have a 2-cap going to be coming out here for Astral Authority, making their way back into this game, seemingly without a problem here.
Yeah, Oren able to get that full cap off right now over on the waterfall, and they're going to need to push everything they've got into this fight here, as they do have Toker in the downstate right now. This could be it, as Stal gets the stomp off, and they're going to be able to push now, and they need to look to Aerox right now, get him off of this point at the very least here. Fanaram still being bled out. Great job from them, just making sure that he's not on the map at all, because Fanaram's presence in this meta on the Mesmer is huge for this Astral team, and Aerox has been taken out. Looks like they're going to be going for a stomp. This is your opportunity to put a ton of damage on this and potentially make it a wipe here, as Aerox is going to be finished off there by Stal. Chase taking a lot of pressure as well. Nos was taken out as well. This is huge for them. This is a huge turn of events. I mean, Chase is going to be eliminated as well. Blue team back in this. Never Lucky coming back.
Yeah, this is quite the amazing play from Never Lucky, who 6 minutes remaining, we could definitely see a Lord Rush at any point here. There's the cap from Never Lucky. There's going to be a 2-cap from them as well, as things start to progress over at the waterfall. And it looks like Sunfish is under a lot of pressure right now. Needs to be careful. Has his full shroud if he needs to use it. It looks like he's going to do just that, as Never Lucky showing how dominant they can be. And this is kind of the situation you see the opposite of with Astral Authority. Usually they're the ones that are staggering your respawns, holding onto this 2-cap and doing the things that we see from Never Lucky, who are just completely showing them how it's done here. And Nos might be forced back into his base if he's able to stay alive. It got in a terrible position. 5-gauge coming in with some heals here. Is he able to keep him up? I don't think so.
Yeah, if they're able to get Noscock into the downstate and just basically force them to be, force everyone to leave him there, I mean, that's going to be huge. It looks like they're going to be able to do that, and then look exactly where they're positioned right now. No portal necessary at this stage. They can bust this door down right now, and they can force themselves in if they so choose. And what I say to do right now is to just leave a portal here probably, and just back out of this one. It looks like they're going to go all in on this one instead.
Oh, that's a risky move, especially with Nos coming off respawn. Nos actually doesn't want to look for it potentially. I think he needs to come back, because this is still scary from Never Lucky. Nos is confident his team's,
Bulwark gyro there.
He's confident that Aerox and 5-gauge are able to keep this Lord alive.
Honestly, they should.
They should be able to, but there's the portal coming out there. Oh, failed, 158 health. That was actually a smart move from Nos. I wasn't totally confident at first, but given the play from Aerox and 5-gauge, they're able to hold on to that, handle the job with ease, and potentially try and get something out of that.
Yeah, I mean, that really isn't what I would have wanted if I was leading the charge, if I was calling the shots on this Never Lucky team. I don't know really what they were doing there. I think taking the gate down, leave a portal, come out, win that easy fight against Fanaram. I mean, it was basically just Fanaram by himself at that stage, and you could have easily taken him out and then, recollected back over at the quarry, gotten the team together, portaled over, and gotten some easy pressure onto the boss. But despite that, they are going to be losing some people across the map, one of which is going to be Steel, who is getting bled out right now. Sunfish probably soon to follow here, as he's getting just completely trained out. And we've seen this Astral Choo-Choo train before. Just so hard to get away from. Looks like he is potentially going to be able to do that, though, as Chaith is the only one left here.
But Never Lucky still claims a 2-cap with Fav off respawn, going to be holding on, or grabbing rather, that waterfall node. Is going to be met by Nos up there. Nos probably looking for, going to be just chunked down there by Fav with the surge in the midst. Absolutely destroyed. I don't think the Aerox might be able to get him out. He does get him back up. I take my words back. Now we have Toker actually looking for a decap over at the waterfall. 100 points away from victory for Never Lucky. The big question is, will Astral Authority get to 350 for a Lord play?
You know, I mean, it's certainly within the realm of possibility, especially as they're going to be able to.
Toker's going for the
yeah, he's going to go
right
for the
now.
door for sure.
And on the other side of things, Steel is also going for one. It looks like he has a portal ready to go. Nos is down at the mid node off respawn. Steel actually looks. It looks like Fanaram's looking for a portal in there, but Steel Illusions decided to go for the decap instead. They don't even have 350 points now. 250 remaining. Aerox taken down at the midpoint. That was a little bit of a juke coming out there from Steel, and I liked it.
Yeah, I definitely like that play from him. This is what they should have done the first time. I mean, he's literally just doing what they should have done the first time. And they're going to be able to take out Aerox. They're going to probably be able to take out Chaith as well, as the Connies are going to tick down on him. This is one of those situations where, you know what, don't even bother. Honestly, don't even bother. You definitely want someone to come back and potentially take out Toker, as he's just kind of trolling around in that base, and it looks like he's going to try to put him up against the wall there and focus some pressure down on them and potentially get this Lord down. But at the moment,
they've got nothing else going for them, so it won't even matter. They've got to get a decap. They've got to get a full cap, and quick, because Never Lucky has a 3 cap now, and it looks like they'll be taking game number 2. I think it's going to be fairly close. Toker should be able to pick up the kill onto the Blue Lord right now, but nothing else is going for him.
It just should not be enough, and he is going to be able to get that kill, so they are going to be pretty close here, but that 3 cap, because they didn't have Toker in any of those fights, is going to put them a man down, and they are going to be able to pull away with the victory. That's going to be 1-1 going into a game 3 between Astral Authority and Never Lucky.
Game number 3, let's take a look at the opening splits as these teams prepare for the final game here. Fanaram already heading to that windmill. Chaith going to be heading over to the mansion. Expecting 3-point play from both of these teams. Just a little bit of a different split as to who they send where, and Chaith actually looking to defend here. Let's take a look at what we've got here on the map. Is he's under a lot of pressure. He's trying to hold off these guys as Fanaram trying to get that full cap Selecta and beat him there.
Yeah, and this is going to be a pretty interesting setup here. Steel versus Toker, and we're already seeing actually Toker put a ton of damage down into Steel. Steel not doing so well in the 1v1s as we've seen so far, which is kind of interesting given the fact that he's running a build that's pretty much set up for 1v1s, and Toker is actually going to be able to eliminate him so easily here, and that's going to be not so great for Never Lucky. A very rough start, and we saw a very rough start for them on Forest, and they wound up losing that map, so this is not looking good for them.
Selecta Moed there by Fanaram, who wasn't really able to capitalize on it. Running around with 6 stacks of Torment, regardless, is able to cleanse those with ease. Meanwhile, at that mid node, wasn't quite finished up yet as Feov is in the area. 3v1 actually against him. He needs to be careful. He's going to try and run on out of that, as Unrelenting Assault going to follow him up from Toker, who's on his tail. There's the first cap of the game going to Astral Authority with that clock tower.
Yeah, Nos actually getting Connie bombed in Plague Form there, and he's going to be looking to try to take out Oran a little bit here, but looks like with that Moa coming out, and he's trying to, I mean, Chaith is just trying to keep Nos alive, and he's going to be able to go invis and rotate out just far enough to get his heal off, it looks like, and now they're going to be able to look at Chaith instead, and it's actually Olrun who's taking a lot of the pressure here. Needs to be extremely careful. Olrun does have his heal up though, so now they're probably going to be able to go straight over to Chaith, and Chaith is so low here, same as Nos, but it's going to be down to just focus one of them. I mean, they're just going back and forth trying to keep them both low, but if they focus one of them, they'd be able to take that guy down and, you know, maybe force the next one a little bit like, shortly after.
The 3v3 didn't go so well over at the windmill, as we have all 3 4-man wipe here, as Astral Authority could be in trouble. Nos is going to get back up thanks to that function gyro from Chaith and try and hold their own at the mansion. Clock Tower, that cap will give them a little bit of leeway here, but regardless, there's going to be an early 2 cap coming out here from Never Lucky.
Yeah, what a way to start out, though. I mean, they are a little bit of points down, but that was a huge pickup for them if they're able to capitalize off of it, and they are going to be able to get that full cap off on Clock Tower. They need to make sure that Olrun stays healthy, though. That's the key here. If they're able to potentially get Chaith down, as it looks like they might be able to, as they do manage to get him down, Stealth Gyro is out, though, so they're just trying to put down a bunch of cleave, but Nos is going to be able to get him back up. Feov and Steel Illusions not able to get Chaith all the way down there, and he's going to be looking to turn the pressure now onto Feov, and Feov is that guy that they've always been looking for in these team fights to pressure, because for the most part, that's kind of the easier target. I mean, once you kind of get Feov to lose all of his cooldowns, he starts kind of spamming all of his energy on Shiro, getting those dodges, and then quickly runs out of basically all of his resources, and you can eliminate him pretty fast.
Taking a look at Chaith here, made a little bit of a push towards mid. Run and Steel Illusions up here. Taking a look, actually, Toker taken into the downstate now, getting stomped out by Stalacta and starting to move this Astral Authority team out of their home node. A decap from Steel Illusions going to come out. I think we're going to have a 3-cap here for Never Lucky, who are just looking so good in this game number 3. Exactly what they need to do to continue to control this set as they have, at least in the last game, it looked like they were. Meanwhile, Toker off respawn, looks for a decap. Run though, going to meet him halfway there. And this 2-cap now, because Clock Tower was decap still, proving how good Never Lucky can be.
Yeah, and huge Condi Bomb being transferred over to Chaith, although Sunfish is extremely low, trying to make his way back up to the Clock Tower where he knows his team will potentially be able to support him. And he needs to do it fast, but he is going to be able to get some support from his teammate, get back up into a healthy position, although Feov is the one who needs to be careful now as Toker's all over him. And we've seen this before where Toker has gotten on Feov and Feov just doesn't really know what to do, and he gets pressure to the point where he's taken down a lot, and they've found a lot of kills and a lot of you know, really pivotal moments off of killing Feov.
Looks like Run now is under his own pressure here as he's going to be forced off of this node, looking to make his way back to the mid. Nos looking to put some pressure out onto Feov in the 1v1 here. We'll have to see if Feov is able to get a decap or not, as this node is what is holding Astral Authority together. Taking a look at the mid node, Sunfish under a lot of pressure. He is forced out outside of the shroud. No one really keeping pressure on top of him, but this is just anybody's game to take still. I mean, we're only 5 minutes into this one.
Yeah, but look at this rotation, though. I mean, Feov already putting pressure on Nos, getting him pretty low. If they're able to get some more CCs on them, I mean, it's all up to Sunfish to finish this one off. And they do manage to get it. As long as they can make sure that they actually get the kill off, then this will be a huge pickup. And they do manage to get it there, as Fanaram was not able to land that shield 5. And now Feov's going to be able to just kind of put pressure on him. They don't need to necessarily win that. Sunfish can go back over towards that midpoint and then just kind of win that for them, because that's already a good setup for them, as Chaith is really, really pivotal in these fights, and he's already being taken down. Elixir S coming out, keeping alive for a little bit longer. Sunfish probably going to be able to finish this one off, though, in just a matter of
Well, he has a
moments.
sneak gyro. He's going to use that one. So a lot of conditions coming out there from them. Sunfish, oh man, Chaith decides to go back into the fray in the thick of things. Both teams holding on to that 1-cap, over an 80-point lead here for Never Lucky 6 minutes into this game, as they're just controlling everything. Run once again picking up a decap, but Chaith will try to do so on the other side of the map. Steel is going to be able to keep up with him, so this is just Never Lucky. It feels like out-rotating Astral Authority.
Uh-oh, that was a good Moa, though, onto Sunfish, and it looks like it's just Stal and Sunfish here at the midpoint, and a ton of pressure being put down on Sunfish, and he actually gets taken down there by Nos and Toker, and it looks like they're going to be able to get the stomp with Aerox.
And a 2-cap for themselves. Miscommunication just there from Fanaram and Toker. Who's going to be capping the point? That just kind of sums up even something that minute. Just, I mean, that can definitely take away from the team morale. And being 2-capped by Never Lucky, over a 100-point lead for them on game number 3. This is a tough map to come back on.
Yeah, this is huge for them, and no one really making any moves over towards the mansion at all. So a lot of the impact is going to be forced over towards this windmill point, where it's Run's actually taking a lot of heat over here, and it looks like for the most part this Astral team is looking pretty good in this fight. And you know, across the map there, where they already had that decap over on the windmill, they just got the decap on mansion as well, and they can rotate back into the midpoint where they can just force another fight that they think that they have the advantage in. Chaith has proven himself to be a team fight master at this stage, although Toker is down here. It looks like they're going to be able to maybe get Chaith in the process, as he's extremely low as well. And this
rough.
is 2 for 1, man.
That's just super rough there, and just kind of shows, I mean, getting decapped there and then moving and losing that fight because Toker was in the downstate 5 gauge. I think it went a little bit too far in trying to get him back up there. Now Fanaram taken down at mid. That just opens up the opportunity for Never Lucky to pick up a 2-cap once again and continue to bring out massive pressure onto this windmill node, which is Astral Authority's home node, and that's tough to get them out of there.
Feov's burst is just absolutely insane, just ripping Fanaram apart, and they're able to get that 2-cap yet again here. It's just under 7 minutes left in this game. We are seeing a 130-point lead there, doubling the points of Astral right now for Team Never Lucky, as they're going to be trying to chase down Chaith here, as he's potentially walking back over towards this mansion point just to stay safe, it looks like.
Steel going to use Blink, going to get there in time because of it. Shield block, going to avoid that Thunderclap, and 5 gauge once again forced out of this node because not really confident, probably able to take that one. That's not really something that really favors him without that Elixir C, and he's running that gyro instead. As now we're going to have that 1v1 between the Mesmers, still a 150-point lead now for Never Lucky. It continues to build, and 200 points away from taking the first set ever off of Astral Authority, the Absurd's name before, since November of 2014 by a North American team. So that says something.
Yeah, this would be really impactful. I mean, it doesn't even matter that they have a sub now because it's all about what happens in the season, and getting a win on a team like this means a lot for the rest of their season. I mean, they're basically, if they take this win, they're going to be solidifying probably their spot. If they take
PZ out.
Yes, that's the biggest thing, is that they then have to take PZ out, and I mean, it comes down to how confident they are in that matchup. I mean, we could see teams like Final Form coming up as well, but this means a lot, man.
It really does. And even if they potentially do lose this, that matchup against Team PZ, who is, we keep talking about them, slated as a top 2, potentially with Never Lucky, those 3 being the top 3 teams from what we see right now, they still would have to win that matchup regardless. So that's still a very vital matchup. But regardless, Stalacta taken down. This is not looking too good for Astral Authority. Might be able to pick up a kill onto him. Seal down as well. Sunfish might fall in the downstate here as Nas and Aerox trying to do what they can against Fail and Sunfish. This, if you ask me, would be their last attempt to salvage this game and get back into it.
They need to pull out of this, I think. I mean, at least just to get out of combat and maybe let Olrun just kind of hold this 1v2 for a little bit. I think that's definitely the play to make, but looks like they're going to be sticking around anyways. Fayav going to be in this. I don't like this. I don't like this, man. I just don't like this at all.
There's the 2-cap, Sunfish in the downstate. This is everything for Astral Authority. Make their way back into this game under the new name. Are they able to pull this off? Down 150 here with the 2-cap. We see just kind of the rest of Never Lucky seem to be running rampant right now. They're just everywhere. We see Stalacta looking for a 1v1 against Fanaram here, like he's going to kill him or something. Not going to get any help from the rest of his team. Aerox is coming in here, going to support him up, and a decap coming out there at the mansion node. But is it enough in this 1v1 between Steel and Fanaram?
I mean, the presence that Astro has at this stage of the game is just proving to be a little bit too much for Never Lucky. They need to get recollected immediately and swing a team fight. I mean, that's what it comes down to. They need to make sure they get it at least down to a 1-cap or get a cap themselves to just make sure that the separation remains there for the next 3.5 minutes that are left in this match.
Now down under 100 points, Seal and 5 gauge in the 1v1. Taking a look over here at the big mansion fight. This is everything for these guys. Sunfish outside of Shroud, 100% HP, but has nothing. Doesn't have any Shroud, has no cooldown aside from Consume Conditions now. Puts his Condis onto Fanaram. We'll have to see if he's able to deal with them. We actually see Fayav not wanting to be in that 1v1 anymore against Chafe. 70 points away from getting back in this game. 3 minutes remaining. Stalacta in the downstate here. This could be a miraculous comeback for Astral Authority.
Oh boy, this could definitely be, I mean, it definitely could be that. I mean, they're going to be able to get the cap off on Mansion. There's no way Never Lucky's going to be able to do anything about that. Olrun still just getting trained around by Toker, and that is such a good move from them, putting him on that, because, I mean, just keeping Olrun out of the fight with just one person is so pivotal for this matchup. I mean, it really does mean a lot. Looks like they're going to be trying to gravitate the fight. They do manage to get a decap.
25 points. I mean, they briefly held the 3-cap there, but like you said, got the decap because 5 gauge was a little slow to the rotation there. Fayav looking to plus that one and take him out. 15 points, 2:30 remaining in this game. Is Astral Authority able to do it? It looks like Steel's about to be taking down Sunfish in the downstate. Fayav has his glint heal, but outside of that, there's not a whole lot left. We will be seeing Astral Authority take the lead after being down over 150 points here on the Battle of Kylo, a map thought to not be a great one for a comeback, with no secondary objective like Chieftain or Lord or, you know, Temple buffs for that matter. Are they going to be able to do it here, Hirix?
I have to say, at this stage, it's definitely looking like that's going to be the case. Nas not getting pressured enough to be taken out, going to be able to get into that Reaper Shroud, has the full Shroud as well, and it looks like I'm just not sure if they're going to be able to take him out, and if they even do, they have to make sure that they get a double kill off of it onto Chaith as well, and they've proven they can do that, but I'm not sure if they have the damage or the just the regular pressure at this stage. Stal was getting pressured to the point where he was almost taken out as well.
Ooh, Sunfish forced the blink there from Fanaram. Not a huge cooldown or anything, but he did force it nonetheless in this 1v1. Still have that 1v1 going on between Stalacta and Toker. Going to get a little bit of help from Steel. I don't think they can afford this help, though, because it's not a node that's in Astral Authority's favor. They need to be elsewhere. There has not been a single point for Never Lucky, at least in the past several minutes. And it's been basically a 200-plus point run here for Astral Authority.
But they have the opportunity here. Function Gyro is going to go down onto Fanaram. It's still rezzing away, and it looks like Chate's going to be trying to add to that. The pressure is relentless here from Never Lucky. There's only a minute left on the clock. I don't know if they even have enough time at this stage unless they get a huge wipe and a 2-cap at least.
They would have to get a 2-cap, if not a 3-cap for that matter. And given the fact that Toker is actually, I believe they took someone out there. Steel is going to be taken out here. Extra 5 points just to add to it. Still in that 2v1 against Stalacta. Stalacta's not going to be able to hang on very long against Aerox and Toker. I think there's the first points, the first cap in several minutes from Never Lucky, who, oh man, already calling the GG there from Sunfish. What a game from Astral Authority. I think probably one of the biggest comebacks we've ever had in the North American Pro League scene.
Yeah, that was definitely a really huge comeback, and we were talking about it, like what it really means for this team Never Lucky, but let's talk about what it means for Astral. I mean, not only is this their first game under their new flagship name, but on top of that, they're coming away with a win that they really needed to get, and then obviously they need to keep winning, but this is really the one, this is the really one big opportunity for an upset, at least in my mind, that could have happened to them this season, especially given the fact of the timing, but still pulling out with a win.
And a reminder that week 2 will not be next week. It will be on April 4th. So tune back in with that for our next week's action. Guys, that's going to be it from us. We'll see you next time, and that'll be on April 4th. Have a good night.